в уши ебет? Озвучки нету. Ну, может, титры хоть лучше будут.
The alliance of humans, elves, and dwarves fought against the evil army of the shadows. The war had devastated the country for years upon years, and yet no one gained the advantage. And so it was that in that time of deepest despair, that an old archaeologist uncovered the location of the artifact of divine fate. The artifact could fulfill every wish, and thus decide the war, for one side or the other. Led by warlock Munkus, son of Archwitch Mortroga, the Shadows hunted for the artifact. And they would have reached it first, were it not for a group of heroes who stood against them. Wilbur, the young gnome who was the first of his clan to become a mage. Ivo, the courageous elven princess from the woodland realm. And the Critter, a hairy creature from the Northlands, companion of the most brilliant of the heroes, Nate Bonnet, who was supposed to spend the rest of his life at the side of an elven princess, who deserved a kingdom and all the riches in the world, who should stop wasting time talking about himself in the third person. Ah!
А мы уже играем? Ой, какой маленький курсор. У меня есть инвентарь, в котором нет нихуя. У меня есть меню.
Good, good. This is good. Although the ground is still getting closer.
Последний корабль свой разъебал. Так, у нас проблема.
Part of the jetty. At least some of it survived the explosion.
Взрыв? А взрыв был в первой части? Там вроде на драконе все улетели. Чем первая игра закончилась? Тот мужик, да.
If I'm lucky, this will go all the way up to the island. But somehow I really doubt it will.
Ой. Не прямое, а во. Что может быть смешнее удара яйцами об бревно? Ничего, очевидно.
Oh, hi Nate, how's it going?
Good. For now. Could it be that your spell didn't quite work out the way you planned?
I did tell you there were certain risks involved.
Высокий риск, да?
Risks? What risks?
Now, Djinn magic is a complicated affair. It's difficult to get the dose right, and when one hasn't done magic for a while, things can go a little bit wrong.
Like you killing me, for example?
Not intentionally.
Ну ладно, невелика потеря, почти никакого вреда.
No big thing. So, now that we have a little time to kill, why don't you tell me a little something about yourself?
Oh, right. Well, yes, I came into this world in an oasis in the Umzu Desert, and at that time, I was...
Are you out of your ever-loving mind? Definitely not the time to reminisce.
Then why did you ask?
I could use some help here, Benny.
Well, you did see what happened last time I cast a spell.
Time to make up for it, then. Now shake a leg.
Oh,
Ну и яркая,
I
и
might just end up making
игра.
everything worse.
белая. Блейзер Черри? А Блейзер до сих пор продается? Что это такое? Что это? Я не пила Блейзер никогда. Хуже?
Let me see. I'm accompanying tons of boulders in a plummet to certain painful death. My death. So just how do you think you could make things any worse?
Worse? I could set the air on fire, or it could start smelling very bad.
Can't you just stop time? Or wings! Give me wings! How about that?
Oh, this is all terribly complicated. I really don't feel up to it today, Nate.
Benny!
Perhaps tomorrow? I really do need to think through what's happened today properly.
У меня нет
You
блина.
get me out of the mess you got us into right now!
Please don't yell at me! I just can't take it anymore!
Benny! Ah! The state he's in, we can forget about miracles. I gotta find something easy, something even he thinks he can do.
Они падают в фэнтезийной игре.
A flying carpet. Is that too much to ask?
I'm not talking to you.
Why you... I'm sorry I criticized your work, Benny.
And?
And that I shook your lamp. And everything else. You meant well.
Well, all right then. I forgive you. What can I do for you?
Carpet!
A flying carpet. Shouldn't be too hard.
Так, не упоминай в суе, пожалуйста, резиновая пуля.
Am I really up to it?
Блять.
Yes! What the heck?
Как квестик, а мне не нравится.
What happened here? No!
Привет, Изуми. Ай, спасибо большое.
Welcome, adventurer. I am the tutorial, guardian of gameplay, explainer of controls. To move a
Но мне
character,
нравится
just
только
click
розовый
anywhere in the
криттер.
scene, wherever your heart desires.
Спасибо за обучение.
Well done. If you left-click an object, then your character will perform an action determined by the context.
Вторую надо, она новая,
Click on
она
that
точно
big
будет
lever.
смешной. Большой рычаг. Криттер.
The robot has used the lever, as this seemed logical to him. Now
Привет,
click the lever
Трописка.
with your right mouse button so that the robot looks at it rather than uses it.
Угу.
Excellent. The robot thinks the lever is working. But if that's so, then where is the problem? That hatch over there, left-click it. The little chap seems to think there are advanced engine mechanics hidden behind there. Perhaps that's where the problem is. Click on the hatch again using the left mouse button.
Первая была самая простая в плане логичности. Я там практически не тупила. В приквеле началась какая-то срака. Посмотрим, как будет здесь. Но и меня смущает тот факт, что иногда для того, чтобы продвинуться по сюжету, тебе нужно с кем-то поговорить. А вот, что ж, как много рейдов за сегодня. Спасибо, Дим.
Second to use. Why?
И
Because
привет,
after a
ребят.
player character has looked at something, the most logical thing to do next is use it.
А мы
It's quite
здоровались, Дим, сегодня.
Right-click when you want to look at something, left-click in order to do whatever that character thinks is the next most sensible move. Is the machine working again? Left-click on the lever.
Чем шире срака, тем лучше. Точно? Вдруг срака будет такая широкая, что не поместится на стул. Как сидеть? Привет, Дарк Фокс. Все зрители стримера, судя по всему, да. Иду делу. Работает или не работает? Ну, хуй знает. Это как заставка в «Игре престолов».
There appears to be a new problem. Better take a closer look at the engine. Oops, that wasn't very helpful. Please pick up both gear cogs. Great work. Items you pick up will go into your inventory. To open and close your inventory, left-click the ruck. To use an inventory item, left-click it, and then left-click the object that you want it to be used with.
Ее перетаскивать надо. Нет. Он просто болтал. Вторую шестерню. Тудуп.
Perfect. You'd better oil the engine before you switch the machine back on again.
Да ты популярный рисунер уже давно, когда тебя запостили в том паблике. Только лайков собрал. Ужас какой.
That should do it. Time to crank it up.
Ну да, это же «Игра престолов». Игра 15-го года. Когда начался сериал выходить? Начал выходить. Или нет?
You can examine objects in the inventory in more detail. Pick up the damaged figure and the toolbox. Then when you are in the inventory, right-click the toolbox in order to examine it.
Ну возьми. Пуп-пуп-пуп.
Great. You found a few items in the toolbox. You can use these items on each other by initially left-clicking the first object, and then, when you have this item on the cursor, you left-click the second object. Try to repair the figure in the inventory.
Как мы ее починим? Скотчем?
Well done. Now place the figure back in its rightful place on the balcony of the castle and start the machine.
У меня есть воблихаммер. А отвертку надо куда-нибудь запихивать?
Excellent. Now ready. One last
Тут вроде харда нет, поэтому я буду нажимать на пробел и не плакать, что я не нашла свистульку.
Good luck with your adventures in the book of unwritten tales.
I'm worried about you.
Ой, какая красота.
Oh, Mother. What's wrong with you?
Everything's fine.
No, you don't look well at all. Positively rotund.
Это Иви
It
сейчас
is
так выглядит?
unseemly for an elf princess to cope with her frustrations by comfort eating. If you carry on like this, you won't fit into your wedding dress.
Wedding dress?
Don't have any
А, они
intentions of
собираются.
marrying anytime soon.
Oh, darling, we've been through that already. Prince Lalilos is going to be arriving next week. You will like him. He's charming and... Look, he sent us a picture of himself and his sister.
Which of the two is the sister?
The elf nobility, unfortunately, has not got any unshaven Neanderthals to offer. You'll just have to get used to that.
I don't have the slightest interest in that person. Not anymore.
You are at the heart of the elf kingdom, in the castle of your family where you belong. No one here should be sad, tired, or fat. I only want what's best for you, Ivo.
Блин, почему они прикрыли ее голый животик? Она меня заперла.
Did you see that? She's locked me in. Yes, only what's best for me. She always says that.
Спасибо. Ты сам-то видел этого принца? Ла-ла-ла.
Have you seen this prince? A vain river elf who's only interested in topping up his tan. I'm to spend hundreds of years in the company of someone I don't love? Huh, not me. And how? She will try anything and everything. Nothing's more important to her than getting me married off.
Я вот тоже думаю, что, наверное, Дима, игра-то вон попозже вышла. Сейчас, блин, если хочешь смотреть на сиськи, покупай хентай-пазлы, да? Я сама хочу решать, я хочу свободу.
When I was out there with the humans, it was the first time that I had the feeling I could determine my own destiny. Yes, it was dangerous. Doesn't that go with the territory? A life without risk, that is so... Oh, you don't understand. If I could, I would go right now. You want to stop me? Just like last time.
А зачем, Дима, скрывать такие вещи? Надо гордиться этим, нет? Я вот горжусь, что у меня Хани Кэм студио, и первый Хани Поп на Full Achievement сделал. А со вторым Хани Попом не очень хорошо вышло, там гриндить надо очень много. Мне не здоровится, Чип.
I didn't want to tell Mother, but I've not been feeling too well lately, Cheap. I'd say the same thing, but we elves hardly ever get ill. Yeah, you've got a point there. I spent almost a year in the human world, and they have some very strange ideas about personal hygiene. Well, I thought perhaps it's a curse. Oh, no, you won't. I'll take care of it myself. Mother would make a state occasion out of it. I don't know either, but I'm sure there's a medical book down in the library. No, rest is not what I need just now. I'll go down to the library and look up what's wrong with me, completely alone, just like a grown-up elf. I'm not going to be stopped, neither by locked doors nor by you.
Надо, Дим, еще поставить ублюдский фон с покачивающимися полуголыми бледьми с огромными сисюндями. Чтобы люди сразу знали, с кем имеют дело, и боялись. Ну и уважали, естественно. И аватарку анимированную, там тоже вроде есть покачивающиеся тяночки.
Fresh water from the Springbrook, the little stream that rises here in the castle and provides for the whole valley. People come from far and wide to drink it. No, I'm not thirsty.
Хотя, смотри, декольте-то оставили. Привет, я Балдрам на Twitch TV. А у меня есть Балдрам в чате.
The times when the others were here in the Elf Burrow, those were the best that I've ever had. The critter could never keep still.
Ты Балдрам,
He was always pulling faces and trying to make me laugh.
Тебе привет передает я.
Wilbur was so excited. He loves elves and our stories. He spent hours sitting with my father and listening to him talk about bygone ages. Complete idiot.
Они должны с Нейтом замутить в конце второй части, да? Уилбур, это и есть Уилбур. О, Бардра меня добавил в список друзей. Ты хочешь украсть моих НТ-пазл? У меня их нет.
I had my birthday during the few weeks that we spent living together here in the Elf Burrow. That was a big deal for Wilbur.
Уилбур и Вилбур — это один и тот же человек, просто разное написание. Ты троишь меня?
After a few hundred years. He insisted on making me a present. He sat in the corner for days knitting me this hat with his little gnarled fingers.
Можно ее
Wilbur didn't know
забрать?
that autumn would last for years to come and that elves don't feel the cold, but it was still the best birthday present I've ever had. Mother looked at the hat with so much revulsion that I didn't take it off for days. Wilbur just beamed with pride.
А то, зря, что ли, покупала все части. Осталось Кикония дождаться, вторую фазу. Их там, по-моему, 4 должно быть. Рюкиш там что-то не хочет работать. Так, посмотреть в зеркало.
Cheap Cheap likes to look at his reflection. He strikes a pose and then tries to impress himself with it, and succeeds most of the time. Hey, Cheap Cheap, I need the mirror. I only need it for a minute. Oh, he's not budging, and his pecs can be damn painful when he puts his mind to it.
А зачем мне зеркало? Коробка с
My jewelry
драгоценностями.
box serves as a podium for the vertically challenged narcissist.
Мы собираемся скидывать птицу?
Could you please move aside? I want to get into
Ты
my
думаешь, она
jewelry
все-таки
box.
завибрирует бы?
He doesn't listen to me anymore since I almost caused him to be roasted by fireballs, decapitated by swords, and eaten by monsters. Mother has permitted him to disregard any of my orders that go against her wishes. His interpretation of this can be liberal.
Она, кажется, была симпатичнее, нет, в первой части? Фу, тут леопардовый какой-то принт на одеяле. Улюлюк? Улюлюк чуть-чуть, но за него там давали играть прям совсем чуть-чуть, если не ошибаюсь.
I've been sleeping badly of late, and sometimes I feel tired all day long. I've never been ill, but something isn't right. I hope I'll find the answer in the
Я не пойду в
library.
библиотеку, пока не прокликаю твою комнату. Что это? Автосохранение,
When
наверное.
Nate and the others lived here, Nate often made intimations that were to do with the bed. I don't know why, but I know Mother wasn't happy about it. She moved him to a guarded guest room at the other end of the castle. And Cheap Cheap was ordered never to leave my side.
Кувшин, чаша.
Normally this bowl is full of fruit and nuts. Presumably Mother has decided I should be without such things whilst I am, as she says, positively
Привет,
rotund.
Санюшкинс.
Normally this bowl is full of... Presumably...
Угу. Все такое яркое.
We have many exotic plants here in the palace, but sunflowers are my favourite. We have many exotic... Apologies, I need a few of your seeds.
Мы семечками выманим нашего чик-чирика. Можно спуститься в сад, это я всегда успею.
I used to look into the woods for days on end, imagining what the world beyond would be like. Now I know, and I think I miss it. I've seen much suffering, much evil and unkindness in the world out there.
Я не знаю, дадут
It
ли
was
за Криттера
exciting. It was
поиграть.
alive. Here in the Elf Burrow, everything is so ordered, so perfect, so dull. One day's just like the next, and they just pass by endlessly.
Можно семечки положить вот сюда?
Cheep Cheep, would it be possible for you to stop admiring yourself for 2 seconds and move over to stuffing your beak instead?
Ха-ха, глупый птах.
Don't say I never look after you.
Так. А где? А все.
Pearls, precious stones, sparkling earrings and necklaces. All the stuff I have to wear at official functions. If it were up to Mother, I would have trunkfuls of this stuff, and a wing of the castle would be my wardrobe. She just can't understand why Pa and I aren't into this sort of thing.
И зачем я в нее заглядывала, если там нет ничего толкового? Она заперла нас тут, да?
Mother's locked me in, as if I was 200 again. Since I secretly escaped from the elf burrow last year, she's taken to guarding me closer than ever before.
Да блин, тут, наверное, даже шкафчик с нижним бельем не потрогать. А вдруг эльфы не носят нижнего белья? Музыкальная шкатулка?
An envoy from the Far East gave me this musical box years ago. Wherever I go, I always have its tune in my head.
Ты шо, Сора, опять без трусов сидишь? И ты? Вот вы бесстыдники, я ж запрещаю. А по-моему, эльфы безволосые, нет?
A guard with a spear and shield, and like all elven figures, immaculate.
У них волосы только на голове
Elven
растут,
craftsmen
наверное, и
have
то не у всех.
centuries to perfect their artistic skills. Only when everything is always perfect, then isn't everything always the same and somehow unimportant?
Так. А как ты по реке спустишься или что?
It may not be befitting of a princess, but this isn't the first time that I've climbed into the garden via the balcony, and it won't be the last.
Так, это место для панцушота.
I'm just doing my morning exercises. I wasn't going to.
Надо убить птицу.
Of course, I could just ignore him and climb down into the garden anyway. He would, however, make a beeline to Mother and tell on me, and who knows what the two of them would cook up for me next.
А куда мы зеркало поставим? Обратно? Нет, семками я уже отвлекла и спиздила зеркало. Но зачем я это
It's
сделала?
my mirror, really, but Cheep Cheep would probably miss it much more than me.
Можно посмотреть на портрет принца?
Since Nate left without saying so much as a word, Mother seized the opportunity to marry me off to a proper elf prince. So far, I've managed to frighten off every candidate successfully, but she's starting to lose her patience.
У нее бойсбенд вон какой-то на стеночке висит. Птица чилила возле зеркала, но я ее зачем-то спугнула семенами. Зачем? Я не знаю. Просто оно так и было, а потом всплыло. Зеркало к фигуре.
Hey, withdrawal symptoms?
Мы его засунем в
I just need the
шкатулку?
music box a minute.
Нет?
You don't need to turn your head away from your beautiful reflection for 1 second. Come on.
Ага, глупый птах.
Shh. He's gone to sleep. It got dark and he's simply... No, few moments of peace.
Да не убил, он там не задохнется, наверное. Микроволновка? Фу, нет.
Let's go.
Так, панцушот мой где? Блять. Не дали панцушота.
As expected, no one here. My parents are in the throne room ruling the lands. Or rather, Mother is. I don't know the names of all the plants in the garden. Grandmother knows them all, which is probably down to the fact that it was her that gave many of the plants their names a few thousand years ago. Shite beerwood, sweat tea, dodder flower, fat hen, bistort, stink root. We no longer invite her to family gatherings.
Бонсай, смотри, есть. Подожди, они улыбаются?
A fairly small, unattractive tree.
Huh. I'd like to see how attractive you'd look if
Да
someone
хорош.
disturbed you on the pot
Спасибо
in the
большое,
morning.
Eternal Rival.
You mean...
Anyway, what can I do for you, my little beauty?
Сад выглядит великолепно.
The garden always looks fantastic, Arbor.
Thank you. It's a girt load of work. People always think elf gardens are fabulous by their very nature. But you need a mighty good gardener.
You have got green fingers.
Ah, that's just moss, my dear. Happens if you spend all day grubbing around in the earth and don't wash your hands properly in the evenings.
Расскажи что-нибудь о бентах.
You tree shepherds do a great job.
Tree shepherds? The trees just stand there. What do they need a shepherd? However, I quite fancy one of those shepherd dogs. Hey, Rex, do you want to be my shepherd dog? Nah, my darling. I'm a gardener. Nothing more, nothing
Блин,
less.
1000 лет бат не пила. Я снова поспорила с мамой.
Mother put me on a diet this morning.
Да ну хорош, спасибо, скроуфоб.
Wedding.
Oh, everything has to be perfect for her. No such thing in nature, of course. Or rather, everything is perfect if you just let nature run its course.
You tell that to Mother.
I have, many times. She'd be very clever in some things, but very daft concerning that.
Now then, she is the queen.
I'm old enough to be able to call a spade a spade. Spade, gardener. Get it?
Чем сегодня занимаешься?
What are you up to today then? Got much on?
Oh, the usual. You know, it never rains in the Elfborough, but the flowers need their water, so I water them every day.
Ah, the curse of good weather.
The weather isn't the only thing which isn't right. I've been here 30 years, and for 30 years we've
Мы
had
говорим
autumn.
с маленьким
Time passes
Энтом.
differently in the Elfborough. Slower.
Well, that's why everyone grows to be ancient here, obviously. But if we had a bit of normal weather in the usual seasons, there'd be a lot more variety here.
Ты ведь хорошо ладишь с папой, правда?
You and Father, you get along well, don't you?
Ah, no one understands more about nature than him, that's for sure. But I don't often ask him for help. Thinking has never got a field dug, if you get my drift.
He's just more of a theorist.
Ah, the mud on your feet, the smell of fresh earth, all that joy and life.
Почему
You
так
missing out on the
неинтересно
lot by
слушать
just sitting
диалоги?
around up there
Зачем
doing
они
nothing.
I
написали?
have to get on.
Yep, got a bit to do myself. I just don't know what's wrong with that plant over there.
Чтобы он ушел отсюда. Так.
Your mother got a whole heap of flowers given to her the other day from a fairy delegation. All of them took good and strong, just not that one.
Perhaps it needs a special type of soil or something.
Well, anything's possible. If I don't think of something soon, I'll have to ask your father. He can have a little chat with her and she might tell him what's up.
If you're going in, it'd be nice if you didn't tell my mother that you saw me out here.
Oh, you playing hooky again? My lips are sealed.
Так,
It doesn't
цветок.
look very well at all. It's unusual for flowers to hang their heads in this garden. Normally they blossom in our good earth, not to mention the power of Arbor's green fingers.
Какой наш ждешь, Кроуфоб?
If Arbor doesn't know what's wrong with the plant, then it's serious.
Марк, но до этого в играх тоже не смешные диалоги были. Ты же их не писал?
A lovely spot, so long as the bees who have built their hive directly above the bench don't disturb you. I don't have any time to rest, and that's good. At last I've got something to do again. Mother thought it was unseemly of the bees to build their hive in our garden. I don't think she could get used to the thought that she would no longer be the only queen here.
Тогда почему победили неинтересные диалоги? Ой, блин. Плоская чаша. Можно в нее залезть?
This is Mother's mirror. It's said that you can see into the furthest corners of the land and know what's happening in every part of the world. At the moment, it's no more than a shallow bowl. The water's missing.
Нет воды. Ни туды, ни сюды. Бассейн для птиц.
There's only a little water left in the bird bath. Cheep Cheep always says that it evaporates quickly. I, however, think that the constant need to replenish the water is more down to his unbridled joyous splashing and not insignificant body mass.
Так Марк вроде не пьет. Почему его счастливая?
That's a weeping willow. It appears to be so content it looks anything but sad.
Ай, потому что она не плакучая, у нее ветви вверх. Логично, это юмор. Я поняла шутку.
There are reeds and water lilies growing in the pond. Naturally, they were planted there. They don't grow in the
Не
wild so
пьешь,
high up the
подыграл бы
mountains.
мне.
I can't think of any use for a water lily, but a reed could come in handy. There are elf-made ponds and streams all over the palace ground. Their water's said to have healing powers.
Ты торт на
I
день
wonder,
рождения
considering where
ел?
it comes from.
А то я опять, блин, все пропустил. До сих пор стыдно. Так, у меня есть головка тростника и кусок тростника. Мы их засунем в кого?
The spring brook emerges up there. It's still small here, but it becomes one of the largest and most important rivers in the woodland realm.
А меня нельзя приглашать выпить. Тронный зал, нам туда надо? Кстати, как это выглядит? Ага, очень удобно.
That leads up to the throne room. Mother will be conducting the affairs of state with an iron will, whilst Pa leans against the tree of life, probably sleeping.
Пошли в библиотеку, раз нам туда и надо было. Уля-ля, фу, что это? Это же... Да, я знаю, кто это. Это куб компаньона из Портала.
There's a selection of cubes here. For a while, it was all the rage at official state visits to give geometric presents.
Так, шапка реприкона. Ненавижу отсылки!
This
Да?
flower clearly is one of the more exotic of the palace's flowers. It comes from a country in the deep south beyond the deserts. It's said that the flower of this plant used to be sent as a declaration of war, or if one wanted to deprive someone of all sense.
Вот она что-то говорит, а мне вот похуй, почему так?
What have we got here then? Aha. Ah, Almanac of Elf Medicine. That's what I've been looking for.
Ow! Be careful, if you please.
A speaking book?
An ill elf?
Я могу с таким же успехом, блин, играть в point-and-click дома. Оранжевый графин, в нем есть вода. Кажется, давно его не мыли. Не, я это не возьму. Заебись. Больной эльф? Я выгляжу больной?
Ill elf. So I look ill. What's wrong with me?
Take it easy, young one thing at a time.
Young one. I'm older than you.
And you look it too.
I do?
No, of course not, and I can also see no illness. But the mere fact that I've been fished out from the back of the shelf for the first time in centuries tells me that something is wrong.
Я нехорошо себя чувствую. Что со мной?
I haven't been feeling too well recently. I'm sleeping badly and have no appetite. I know that elves are very seldom ill, but if it's not that,
Неужели это
then it
шутка
must
про
be some
любовь?
kind of magic or curse.
Seldom ill does not actually mean never ill. Elves can, for instance, suffer from a broken heart.
Oh, please.
It is one of the most common causes of death amongst beautiful princesses.
Oh, it must be something else.
Sensitive elves can sometimes suffer from the pains of the world. There are a variety of ear infections, and of course it could also be lupus. But I think it is something else.
Like what?
To be completely certain, you must mix a potion and drink
Ура,
it.
зельеварение.
Are you serious?
Very.
Я не знаю, Бэм, где? Второй куб? Второй куб это куб-компаньон. Нет? А где еще один куб? Я «Восставшего из ада» не смотрела. Привет, Джошем! Привет, давно тебя не видела. Вроде бы, да? Только в стиме вижу, как ты... Нет, в Дискорде я видела, как ты в пое играешь. Посередине, но середина это где? Прозрачный кубик там. Тобу на него сделали отсылку. Насколько ты уверен в своем диагнозе? Ты действительно опытный эльфийский доктор?
Are you actually qualified to make a diagnosis? And why can you talk?
I am a magical medicine book that actually serves as an answer to both of your questions.
I've never encountered a talking book before.
Of course not. I am the only talking book here. That's the problem. In the magical library in Seastone,
Может, и
all
он, не
books
знаю.
can talk. Things really get cooking there, believe me.
По-видимому, когда-то тебя нам подарили или типа того?
You were probably given to us by someone from Seastone, right?
Right. I was a complete idiot and actually volunteered. As I am a book about elf medicine, I didn't get much to do in Seastone. I thought to myself, hey, this is your chance to get some practical experience. Wrong.
Yeah, we elves don't get ill much.
And more than that, you don't actually have much time for books. This is the center of the elven kingdom, and just look at how paltry this library is.
We don't have much use for books. We sing songs about times past, and many of us were there at the time.
Then that's probably also the reason why so many elves
Петри
stand
Рундерь.
around in white.
What do you mean?
Allow me to elucidate. Over the years, the songs you elves sing will be changed and adapted, a little here, a little there. This editorial process is nothing more than refined elvish propaganda,
привет,
presenting
Детандет.
them as intelligent and morally
Рок?
impeccable.
Зачем мне рок?
And
Бодаться?
who can prove otherwise? There are no other witnesses and there are no books.
Что у меня за болезни?
I demand to know this instant what sort of illness I have.
Sometimes it's better not to know.
I can take it.
A placebo only works when one doesn't know that it is a placebo. Make the potion and then come back and drink it. Then we'll be sure.
В конце концов, это не может быть волчанка или может?
And if it's lupus?
Have you been bitten by a wolf of late?
No.
Then it can't be lupus. No, I'm pretty sure it's something else. Now, that potion, drink it, and then I can tell you more.
Ау! Что входит в зелье?
All right, this potion. What goes in it?
It is very easy to make. You need to pound together the green fruit of a metis bush, a spoonful of honey and a red herring, and then mix with water into a viscous potion.
Oh, that sounds revolting.
It's medicine. It isn't supposed to taste nice.
And if I drink
Привет,
it,
Будда.
I'll be well again?
We will then at
Где я
least know
найду
what is
копченую
wrong with
селедку?
you.
Где найти куст метуса?
This Metas bush. Where can I find one?
Haven't a clue. I'm just a book and have spent years sandwiched between dusty hymnals and a tome of revolting recipes.
Копченая селедка.
A red herring. Are you serious?
Of course, why not? Red herrings are known all over the land as particularly useful fish.
Опять этот Ред
Their
Herring.
uses in the
Уже не
areas of
люблю такая
medicine,
штука
cuisine,
была.
and literature are too numerous to mention.
All right, so I've got a red herring.
Спасибо.
Thank you. I think that's all for now.
Normally, it's me that ends patient consultations.
Весело, да?
You are only a princess, but I am a doctor.
Яйца мои, яйца. Кубики мои, рубики.
A great example of the variety of our world's fauna. Some of the ideas Mother Nature has can be quite off the wall.
А можно узнать, где оказалась малышка Дженни только тогда, когда выйдет вторая часть? Где она? На нее собирать деньги на Кикстартере? А? Великолепно.
Goldsmithing, masonry, and a book about carpentry. Like all books in this library, it's a guest present. The logic behind this must be, those elves, they have so many beautiful statues and items of wood. They'll be really interested in this. Why don't we present them with a book about it? What they don't
Баллы
realise, though, is
бесценны.
that if we're interested in a subject, then we'll already know pretty much all there is to know about the matter, and the book's of no use to us whatsoever.
Смотреть, взять одну из книг, ну возьми.
Working with wood. There's a master whittler down in the valley. I've enjoyed watching him in the past. He carves animal figures so real that humans and dwarfs believe that they are actually animals turned into wood. This one's more about interiors, making furniture and the like. Plane the wood down by a pixie's thumb and saw the board into 2 equal length pieces.
Привет, ворона!
Who knows what that might be good for?
Шрем.
A present from one of the northern kingdoms. Strange folk up there. The men climb mountains and shout foul-mouthed things in dragon's language at the dragons. I think it's some kind of test of courage.
Ага, скурим. Пинка. Может, лучше шлепок ладошкой по ягодицам, а? Ну, так, наверное, ты не пойдешь учиться, да? Вообще, ты так старалась, так мучилась, работала и училась, чтобы тебя отчислили нахуй. Иди, блин, учись.
The biggest plant book of Avantasia by
Достаточно
Charles
сурово.
Mendel with illustrations by Alexander Bonpland. A standard reference book that Arber always used to consult every now and then. However, he insists that he now knows it off by heart.
Читать книгу о
Perhaps
растениях.
I can help Arber solve the problem with that flower. Let's take a look.
Если растение увяло, значит вы хуёвый садовод. Интеллектуальные яблони, мандрагоры, люболилия. Вот она у нас как раз и опустила голову. Волшебные бобы, томаты-убийцы. Но это тоже отсылка. Дерево гнева. Стальные магнолии и охранные растения. Давай читать про люболилию.
This plant reminds me of the one that Arber's having problems with at the moment. Love lily. The love lily enters into an enduring relationship with another plant very early in its life, which frequently lasts its lifetime. If the partner plant dies, then the love lily does not normally survive the separation.
О, давай читать про бобы.
Giant beans, also known as magic beans, are very rare. They are the fastest growing plant variety known. Because of the beans' high costs, they are almost exclusively used by the military, for instance, in storming high-walled castles.
Да тебе просто тоже не нравится, самурай, что эльфийки пузико скрыли и оставили только странное декольте.
Killer tomatoes are the most devious of the meat-eating plants. Disguised as tomatoes, they hunt on allotments for defenseless humans.
Мандрагора.
Mandrake should only be cultivated by experienced gardeners. The cry of the baby mandrake can kill anyone within 20 meters instantaneously. The tree of wrath bears fruit several times a year. These grapes of wrath are bad-tempered beasts that can lay whole areas to rack
Что
and ruin.
сделать, если у Люболили умер партнер? И она тоже умирает.
Steel magnolias look like normal magnolias, but are some of the toughest plants on Earth. They can be softened using tragic women's stories and subsequently may be picked. The wood of intelligent apple trees is often used for the equally intelligent and beautifully shaped living accessories of all types.
Смотри, яблоко
For
в
a long
очках.
time, botanists thought that it may be possible to find other intelligent fruit varieties. So far, the search has proved fruitless. Gourd plants, Vigilia ordriensis, belong to the oldest domesticated plants of humankind. They have been especially valued in times of famine as they do not require as much food as, for instance, dogs. They can sometimes
Подстри
develop an
мне, я
unhealthy
не
taste for
люблю
blood.
поэзию. Это давно
Baritone.
мальчик один написал.
This plant reminds if the
Уже не актуально, кстати. Смотреть на кубики.
Each cube is significant and comes from a different country, but I never really paid much attention.
Так, мед, копченая селедка и ред херинг. Что за цветок у нас тут? Я его смотрела?
Why do so many people hate this flower? Perhaps it has an abhorrent smell. Now that explains why this flower is classified as a weapon in 24 countries.
Как он мягонько вошел прям под ее платье. А мечи к чему отсылки? Что это, не я, это эльфийка?
Swords of all the idiots who have tried to conquer the elf burrow. It's become less frequent over the last few centuries. Humans and dwarves appear to have learnt their lesson. It's said that a ruler in the north wanted to build himself a throne out of all the swords of conquered enemies. Unfortunately, he died after only conquering one enemy, when he refused to heed all the warnings and sat on the throne.
Так, меч из Майнкрафта. Обычный меч. Меч Клауда, да? Еще какой-то меч. Очень важно, очень отсылочно. Дракон откуда?
A few years ago, this dragon was causing a whole lot of grief. A bounty was put on its head, and all heroes of the land were encouraged to hunt it down. 40 brave warriors penetrated its lair and slew it. They brought the head to the palace where it was displayed
Ты не
in triumph.
шутишь?
The strange thing was that a bit later, more adventurers came
40, нет,
carrying
наверное,
an
Вов.
identical head. Then more and more heroes arrived.
Засудить нет, отсылки не так работают. Можно вернуться в спальню. Дверь теперь открыта?
The door can be opened easily from the outside. If it was up to me, it would stay open.
Так, ред херинг, цветочек. О, цветочек.
This flower was given to us by the fairies, just like the love lily down in the garden.
Ветра
I bet they belong
прибичишь.
together.
А, ну вот ее влюбленный. Сейчас все будет хорошо.
Water's the easiest ingredient to find. We have copious amounts of it here.
Так там семечки.
That should do it. The medicine book reckoned that it should be a viscous potion.
Угу. А мы птицу не будем освобождать, да? Хуй бы с ней. Ми. А слишком много главных героев. Так вот, пока только двоих показали. Их всего 4. Иди влево, блин, женщина. Так, цветок показать. Цветку.
Look, do you know this flower?
О,
Ha ha ha! You did well, girl.
It would appear so.
You snivelling, girl? You all right?
No. Yes? I don't know.
Well then, I think I've earned myself a little rest now.
он выкуривает пчел? У-ля-ля.
The smoke from Arbor's pipe seems to be calming the bees. This is my chance.
Hey now, you all right there?
Sorry, had to do it.
Well, I'm not happy about this destruction of nature. Not unless I get half of that there honey.
I don't need any more. The rest is for you.
Так, а теперь нужно мед взять. А как я возьму?
Oh, that'd be good stuff. But that's enough. The bees need a bit too.
На листочке. Так. Люболилия счастлива, цветок счастлив. А зачем мне тростник, я не знаю. А дудка мне зачем? Удивить Арбора. Ну давай сейчас как дуну.
Very well, Your Royal Highness. Huh, how old are you again?
Что курит? Ну, наверное, табак. Да это не я! То эльфийка, хватит. Так, тут есть карась. Я сейчас буду кусать, дурачки.
As suspected, there are red herrings swimming in the pond. They are really saltwater fish that live in the sea,
Как удушить
but they always
селедку?
come back to their homeland to breed. They're the only known fish variety that can scale nearly vertical cliffs.
Так, по водопаду рыбы могут подниматься, говорили они. Да, блядь, не туда. Как поднять рыбу по водопаду? Вопрос. Чтобы ива стала плакучей. Напугать карасей? Нет. Мед у меня есть. Урурум.
Red herrings are fast and slippery. Even elves can't catch them with their bare hands. Red herring. The waterfall and I have been neighbours for so long that I don't really hear it anymore.
Делать не знаю, чтобы караси поднялись по водопаду.
Shame that the tree's casting more and more shade over the waterfall. Before, the sunlight used to dance on it, and there were the most wonderful rainbows. The willow is stretching its branches up high into the sky with glee. One part of the waterfall's already lying in its shadow. If it continues to grow like that, it'll shade half the garden.
Камень? Вот, я камень проебала. Если бы не было пробела, что бы я делала?
A handy smooth stone. Arbor's sheepdog.
Камень я не дам. Можно оглушить рыбу камнем?
If it were possible to hit fish with stones, who'd need a rod?
Так, ты не умничай, женщина. Камень у меня есть. Камнем, может быть, можно истолочь тростник, но нахуя? Если я ёбну камнем по Иве, она станет плакать? Может, не стоит так делать? Дуй в пруд? Думаешь, караси поднимутся? Я не могу дунуть в пруд. Про плотницкое дело. Что там было сказано?
A book about woodcrafts, sanding, cutting, hammering, all that sort of stuff.
Может, она кому-то нужна? Так, мне нужна только селедка и все. Что он мне там говорил сейчас?
Hi.
Well, what's up?
Что в
What are the
зелье?
potions?
The green fruit of a
Зелёный
metis
фрукт
bush, a
метуса.
spoonful of honey, and a red herring. You have to put everything into a bowl with a...
Thank you for your help.
That's what I'm here for.
Я забыла, как выглядит метус. Мы видели его на картинке, нет? Ага, метус.
Arbor's pot, literally.
Червяки. Уля-ля, рыбалка
I
все-таки.
really shouldn't. It's only Earth. I should tell Mother how her daughter. Well, she'd be delighted.
Так, у меня есть черви. Перетолоть червей с этими, с камнем, потом в мед, и будет замечательно.
No idea what kind of bush this is, but its red fruit looks very yummy. If I learnt one thing in the woods, it's that you shouldn't eat anything you don't know, regardless of how yummy it looks.
А с плоской чаши что там у нас было?
Mother pours water from various jugs into this bowl to cast a spell over the mirror.
Зеркало.
She did this almost daily in times gone by to ask the mirror who was the fairest elf
Но
in
он
all
же
the
садовод, а не
lands.
плотник.
Ever since the mirror started to hesitate with the answer a few months ago, she hasn't been using it quite so much.
Палку я вот тоже хочу поднять, но она, кажется... Лопата!
That's Arbor's little spade. He always leaves his stuff all over the garden, which of course drives Mother mad.
Все, я буду использовать пробел на полную. Пока, мелчек. Спокойной ночи.
Isn't that just lovely? Two plants that have found each other and want to spend the rest of their lives together.
Что, правда? Да что ж я постоянно в эту книжку тычусь? Да, можно
Look, I found this
показать.
book in the library.
Woodcrafts? Why are you showing me that?
I thought it might interest you.
I don't like horror stories.
Horror stories?
Wood that has been clamped into a revolving monstrosity to be whittled down layer by layer to the core? What do you call that then?
Sorry, never looked at it like that.
Branches sawed off, boards nailed together, wood treated with chemicals. Oh, sick stuff.
Он мне ничего не скажет?
You're having a good time, I see.
What can I do for you?
Я взяла у тебя лопату.
I just need to borrow your spade a moment. Is that okay?
Of course. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Курение вредно для здоровья.
You shouldn't smoke.
Why not?
It's not healthy.
No lungs, no problems.
Don't you think it's a bit weird and warped to smoke yourself?
Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. Don't tell no one, though.
Ты иногда скучаешь по прошлой жизни?
Do you sometimes miss your old life and the world out there?
It's comfortable here, to be sure.
And boring.
Well, if you're bored, then why stay?
Me? Well, I'm the princess. And Mother's scared that something might happen to me out there. And to be honest, she's probably right.
Well, of course something could happen to you. And what's it called when things happen to you? Life. That's what it's called.
Life.
You fall over, you get up, you laugh, you cry, you do daft things. Well, how can one enjoy the sunshine if it never rains?
Слушай, мне нужно приготовить одно зелье.
If I were ill and needed to make some medicine, then you'd help me with that, wouldn't you?
Ill? You're an elf. Elves don't get ill.
But if I were...
Oh, come on. Now tell me, how can I help you?
Мне нужен зеленый фрукт. Кустарник метус у нас растет?
Do we have a lettuce bush in the garden here?
That bush over yonder.
But that fruit's red.
And what colour do you expect, then?
Green. Are they only green when they're not ripe?
Nah, they're blue then. They're green when the bush senses danger.
Надо дунуть на куст, чтобы он испугался.
Pardon?
The lettuce bush has exceptionally delicious sweet fruit. But if it thinks it's in danger, then they go green and very sour.
Нихуя, со мной так не
defense
здороваешься,
mechanism.
вертели.
Ah, and the bush only has red fruit because it has nothing to be afraid of here.
That's right.
Можешь одолжить мне удочку?
I often see you fishing. Could you lend me your rod?
Of course, if you bring it back in one piece. What's up?
I was convinced that I would have to make my own fishing rod or that you'd ask me to collect a variety of mystical items in exchange for it.
Why? It's only a rod.
А чё не Монами?
Thanks.
Not everything needs to be complicated, you know.
Так,
There's something else.
пока.
I have to get on. Don't work too hard.
That I won't.
Я буду пугать куст.
If the bush had a heart, it would have skipped a few beats. Thanks.
Давай, ворона, не отлынивай,
The worms
работай.
provide a great lure and should
Учись
increase my
точнее.
fishing success rate, whatever that is. I always hang one onto the hook before I cast the line out.
Хорошо. Ты же наденешь червя сама?
I don't have a clue about fishing, but I'll try my luck.
Навык рыбалки 0.
Just as I expected, nothing. On the other hand, somehow I have the feeling that I now know what I'm doing.
Навык рыбалки 1.
The worms provide a great lure and should increase my fishing success rate, whatever that is. I always hang one onto the hook. I guess that I can just practice until I'm good enough. Or I could try to speed things up by learning more about fishing elsewhere.
Пошли в библиотеке искать книгу о рыбалке.
Several books about animals, an atlas, a book about humans. Actually, more of a brochure. And what's this? Fishing for the moderately talented.
Ну, самурай, держись, может, у тебя астигматизм?
Perhaps there are a few practical hints and tips in the fishing book.
Или дальтонизм, я не знаю, почему тебе сложно.
A lucrative season with a successful technique doesn't just depend on the type and quality of your tackle, but also on a really good spot. It doesn't matter whether you jig, dip, toddle or feed. Wobblers, twisters, spinners, blinkers, poppers, jigs, jerks and live
Задача
baits must be presented in the
сделать
most
зелье.
enticing ways possible. I haven't the faintest idea what all that means. I presume my fishing talents are not quite advanced enough to enable me to use this book.
Так нахуй ты ее читала, если ты нихуя не понимаешь? А? Воблеры, хуёблеры.
A classic.
Чё она поймала сейчас? Ты делала собственную куклу Вуду?
A classic.
Ну, блядь, насади ёбаного червя на
The
удочку.
worms provide I always hang one onto the hook before I cut.
Всегда насаживает. Автоматически она это делает. Окей.
A classic.
Ржу гадко. Я не ржу, я улыбаюсь. Ну, блин, с собственной куклой Вуду можно много чего придумать любопытного. Блять, долго мне ловить? Уровень растет. А сказал, что быстрее будет почитать. Устроить на работу? Нет. Отвратительно, самурай. Как ты до сих пор держишься? А если отдуну, блин, в реку? Так, черви есть, лопата есть. Зачем они мне дали книгу по рыбалке? Может, надо поговорить с нашим товарищем?
Perhaps I have enough knowledge to now understand the book. Right. Aha, oh, twice in a row, then, that was educational.
16. Ага, этого достаточно? Прости меня, пожалуйста. Извините. Ура, карась!
At last. Now I can tick the red herring off my list.
Какая красотка у тебя получилась. Ее можно потрогать в целую... Так, ладно. Теперь мы эту дрянь будем толочь здесь?
Oh, that fruit smells really sour. Thanks for the sacrifice, little fish. I've nearly done it. Just missing the spoonful of honey now.
Мед,
And all
точно.
that needs doing is to crush and blend everything together. About 1 spoon of honey.
И камнем это все перетолочь, да?
I'm pretty sure that there's never been anything so utterly revolting concocted in the Elf Burrow ever. Oh, I hope this is some kind of joke. I
Эй,
don't know much, but I do know that I'm not going to drink this potion until I've had another chat to the medicine book about
ладно, не
it.
пей.
I need to know which disease this potion's meant to be good for. Looks as if it's been pre-digested
Как
several
птичка, не, я
times.
помню. Возможно, с ней выйдет как со смертью. Сейчас приду. Такс. Так, мистер Книга, я все сделала.
Hi.
Well, what's up?
Зелье готово, но ты ж не думаешь серьезно, что я буду это пить?
The potion's ready, but you don't seriously expect me to drink it, do you?
You must.
Он выбрался сам.
Cheap, I'm so... Yes, I know, but... This, medicine. Well, I did tell you that I wasn't feeling well, and the
Зачем?
medicine
Потому
book
что она
here thinks it could
заболела?
be something serious.
She has to drink it, the sour metis fruit, sweet honey and salty fish. That should give us an answer.
Смерть нет, она так и осталась там, сори. Ну вот, ничего не произошло.
Oh, it looks revolting.
It is medicine. It's not supposed to taste nice. That's right. Down to the last drop.
Not as bad as I was expecting. In actual fact, it's quite tasty. I could definitely drink another glass of that.
Congratulations, Ivo. You are pregnant.
Чё? Когда? Пизда.
No. That is completely impossible.
Мне кажется, оно было очень
You
порочным
must be
и
wrong.
очень
Surely it's a
закадровым.
misdiagnosis.
You are an elf and say that potion is quite tasty. I could definitely drink another glass of that. That's raging hormones talking.
I don't have any hormones. Cheap, no. No, the book has made a mistake.
Она говорит, что она никогда не...
Congratulations!
Ну, я не могу быть беременной, я никогда... Ну...
I cannot be pregnant. I've never stood in the divine water with Nate on Midsummer's Night singing the Song of Life. Why? How do humans do it? They do what?
Elves and humans can have children together, but it's not possible without sex.
You see? We never had sex. At least not to my knowledge.
But the diagnosis is crystal clear.
Будем считать, что я беременна, этому должно быть какое-то объяснение.
Let's just pretend that I am pregnant. There must be some explanation, rational or otherwise.
If we discount the possibility that the child was conceived by natural means, which would certainly appear to be the case here, then that leaves us with just the unconventional conception methods.
Эльфус.
Did you,
Можно так
perhaps,
говорить?
make some kind of pact with a goblin regarding the child? Child in exchange for gold or a kingdom, for example?
No?
Has a god in the guise of a bull appeared to you in your dreams? Any angels been having a word with you?
No?
Have any stars fallen from the heavens recently?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Then that just leaves magic, or a curse. But unfortunately, that is not my area of expertise.
I wish it was so cheap, but my feeling is that the book is right. I am pregnant.
Вот почему я пузо прикрыли. Мам ни в коем случае не должна ничего заметить.
One thing's certain. Mother must never find out about this. I don't know either. Do you think that my tummy will start to show? Oh,
Должно быть, меня прокляли.
I'm not sure
Отвратительно,
how,
ворона.
and I'm not sure why, but
Вешалка была в
it
предыдущей
would appear
части.
that I'm pregnant. And as all other possibilities have been eliminated, then it must be a curse that's responsible. That is fantastic! No, of course I didn't mean it like that. But just think. Me. Cursed. That sounds like an adventure. Totally obvious what we need to do now. We ask Archmage Alistair. He's the wisest magician in the realm of man, and he's a friend. He'll be able to tell us what it means. Oh, no, you don't. You remember who was meant to be looking after me so that nothing happens to me, don't you?
Может быть, гном тоже беременный теперь? Может быть, все теперь беременные? Мы должны отправиться в Систон и посоветоваться с Архимагом. Только как мы туда
Alistair's sure to
доберемся?
have the answers. We'll have to track him down in the Mage Tower in Seastone. Only, how are we going to get there? Seastone is days away from here. Oh, yeah, saying fly is all well and good. Are you going to teach me quickly then? No, we need a fast mode of
Ты думаешь, это
transport.
была ловушка
And then there's the
Княжушкина?
small matter of the Border Watch. Their longbows can take out a fly's eye at 400 metres, and they will shoot if said fly should dare to set foot in or leave the woodland realm without permission.
Ты не знаешь сегодняшний пароль, а, Чип?
You don't by any chance know the password that the Border Watch use? Typical. That's exactly the problem. Mother chooses a new password every single day, and there's no way I'll get it out of her. Oh, why don't you know the password? You normally know everything. Hey, know-it-all. Mother's mirror. It knows more than you. It must know the password. If we work as a team, we should be able to cast a little light on the matter, Cheap. After all, if it is a curse, then I'm the victim, not the perpetrator. Well, yes, I know that. She'll blame us whatever happens. But it's best for us to have some answers rather than just presenting her the facts, don't you think? Transport and the password. Let's go.
Ну, что ты прям на рог залез? О, чтобы зеркало заполнить водой, нужно воду принести, правильно? Воды у меня нет, так?
An all-knowing mirror. In the current situation, that would be more than useful. The only question is how to cast a spell over the mirror. I've never done that before.
А кто может знать про заклинание? Вряд ли Пенек.
You're having a good time, I see.
What can I do for you?
А, как именно происходит
Tell me,
беременность?
you know a bit about nature, don't you? How does this childbearing stuff work exactly?
Oh, don't know. Ask myself the same question. The bees pollinate the flowers. The flower seeds are carried away by the wind and new plants grow. Very simple and easy, that. But elves, humans and dwarves don't produce nectar. What have you got to offer the bees?
Yeah, and also our children don't grow in the earth. They grow in us.
I know. Isn't it absurd?
Ты когда-нибудь видел, как мама накладывает заклинание на волшебное
Do you
зеркало?
know how to cast a spell over a magic mirror?
Do I look like a magician or priest?
Perhaps you saw Mother doing it sometime.
Many times. She tips water from 3 different vessels into the bowl and then mumbles a bit to herself. Some kind of elf priestess magic nonsense. I don't know nothing about that.
Me neither.
Я должна покинуть эльфийскую нору.
Arbor, I'm going to have to leave the elf burrow for a few days.
Your mother giving you permission?
Not as such.
Oh, she not gonna like that. But one has to do what one has to do. I wish you a good journey.
Oh, thank you, Arbor. And don't tell anyone I told you.
I wouldn't dream of it. Just don't you go staying away too long now. You know time out there runs much quicker than here in the woodland realm.
Of course. In the outside world, we elves age like humans. That's why most elves avoid it like the plague.
Quite right.
I have to get on. Don't work too hard.
That I won't.
Барона, ты же можешь закинуть картинку на файлообменник и потом скинуть в вертеле в ЛС на печи. 3 разных сосуда. Зачем мне тростник? Кто может знать про заклинание? Слишком, блин, вот ты хитрюга, блин. А чем в ЛС? Ну, я так понимаю, в чат это не сбрасывается, потому что нет. Кто мне может рассказать про... Ты нихуя не знаешь, птица, да?
Hey, Cheap.
Прости, что закрыл тебя в музыкальной
I'm
шкатулке.
really sorry about that business with the musical box, Cheap. But I had to find out what was wrong with me. Are we friends again? Good.
Иногда мне хочется, чтобы у меня был артефакт божественной судьбы.
Sometimes I wish I'd kept the artifact of divine fate. Well, an object that would make every wish come true. It'd be very handy right now.
Кто? Я смешарик? Нет, я Саня.
Yes, I know, too much power for one person. That's why Archmage Alistair and I made arrangements.
А какой вид транспорта может быстро доставить нас в Систон?
Think, Cheap. How can we both get to Seastone without me having to grow wings? You've got an idea? A flight magazine? You've taken out a subscription to a flight magazine? Yeah, all right. Page 15. Hippogriff stud Eculeus in the Blue Mountains. The best battle and hunting hippogriffs in Avantasia. A hippogriff? That could carry me. Not a bad idea, Cheap. But the Blue Mountains aren't close. And just look at the price. A pot of gold. Now, where are we meant to get that from? Yes, I think you're right. We'll have to think of something.
Интересно, сможем ли мы получить гиппогрифа без горшка
Do you think I
золота?
could play the princess card and ask the stud to loan us a hippogriff? That'd cost a lot less than a pot of gold. Yeah, you're right. They'd blab to everyone. Bad idea if I want to travel incognito.
Что за штука такая, секс, о котором ты говорил раньше?
This sex that you spoke about, what is it and why should I not have it? I know that I'm an elf princess. That's exactly the reason I should have something like this. Perhaps even two. Oh, I will find out what you're trying to hide from me.
Ясно, никаких ответов. Скоро
I'll be back
вернусь.
soon, Cheap.
Трактат по медицине мне тоже нихуя не скажет, да?
Hi.
Well, what's up?
Да что ж проеблю-то везде, но может мне книга что-то расскажет.
You were interrupted just now when you were going to tell me about sex.
Indeed, someone is of the opinion that a princess does not need to know about such things.
Oh, come on, tell me.
I could tell you a lot about it, but it would be unwise for me to annoy your parents. They could burn me, or even worse, give me to a public library.
Фу, GameSWB, ты его сам себе купил? Можешь сказать что-нибудь о беременности эльфов?
How do elf pregnancies progress?
They are very similar to human pregnancies, only they take a lot longer, about 4 years. You are presumably in the 6th month.
And if I go into the world of humans to talk to the Archmage, time in the human world passes quicker.
Then your pregnancy will go faster, that's for certain. The consequences are difficult to predict. I am not aware of an elf ever having a child outside of the woodland realm.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. If everything goes to plan, then I'll be back in a couple of days and we'll know what's happened.
That would be advisable. Pregnancy can play havoc with the body and mind. It does not take a lot of imagination to work out what a turbo pregnancy in the human world would do to an elf.
Thank you for your help.
Ей,
That's what I'm here
турбобеременность.
for.
Ебучий караул. В тронный зал мы пойдем. Так, можно взять кувшин? Можно?
That's just what I need.
Эльфы там что-то в озере делают и песни поют.
These earrings here. They're sparkling and glinting in the sunshine. They could actually come in handy.
Так, мой инвентарь опять застлан всякими штуками. В телескоп мы смотреть не будем?
One can almost see the edge of the wood through the telescope, but I just can't leave the elf burrow. Mother would never forgive me, and there are so many dangers lurking out there.
Опять семечки? Зачем?
I'm going to have to take a few more of your seeds, but I promise this is the last time.
Фантазии на пазлы, что ли, закончились? Так, нам сказали, что маманя наша из кувшина 3 разными жидкостями капает. А я знаю, какими жидкостями.
Empty.
Кувшин пуст. Есть блестящие сережки, есть куча всякой хуйни и лопата. Ну, кувшин как я туда? Никак.
There are 3 symbols on the bottom of the bowl. I wonder what they mean. They're the same ones as the columns in the throne room. Each symbol depicts a droplet. Sometimes there's a line underneath it, sometimes above, and here is a circle going through the droplet. Haven't got a clue what they mean.
Значит, в тронный зал
I have
пошли.
seen these symbols once before. Up in the throne room, if I'm not mistaken.
Ха-ха, вертели, ты как дед с технологиями. Не будем вспоминать, как мне подруга уведомления на телефоне отключила, потому что я не знала, где это делается.
Nothing for it. Have to talk to Pa.
Сейчас с батей познакомимся, а? Как тебе такой поворот сюжета?
Ivo, I thought that we'd agreed that you would stay in your room.
Я беременна.
I'm
What are you, my darling?
pretty. I am pretty.
But of course you are. You are my daughter and an elf princess. So you disobeyed me just to tell me this.
Я не маленькая девочка, я не буду сидеть заперти.
I'm no longer a little girl who can be shut up in her room.
No? How did you get out of your room? Did you trick Cheep and then climb over the balcony? That sounds very grown up.
I just left my room to do a bit of training.
Mm-hmm.
You said yourself I've put on a few pounds, and I'm not going to get rid of them by lying around on my bed all day.
Where does this sudden insight come from?
I can't keep asking myself what to do with my life. Perhaps marriage isn't such a bad idea.
It most certainly isn't. And if you train diligently, I'm sure Prince Lalilos will like you a lot.
Лалилёщ.
Of course, fine.
I would love to help you, but I'm most dreadfully busy. A kind of epidemic seems to have broken out in Seastone.
An epidemic in Seastone?
It's strange. We're getting reports from the whole of the Middle Kingdom.
Ура, опять конец
Objects
света,
and
наконец
beings
что-то
have been
интересное.
Changed.
What do you mean?
The situation isn't clear. It appears as if some kind of terrible power is gradually moving through the whole land, changing it. Do you remember the story of the Nothing? A big blackness that gradually swallowed a fairy kingdom bit by bit.
Of course.
This time it is much worse. It is pink.
An epidemic in Seastone. Is it wise for me and it to go there? On the other hand, Wilbur and the Archmajor in Seastone. Perhaps I can help them to fight the epidemic in exchange for them helping me with my problem.
Блин, суть игры в том, чтобы вытащить из эльфийки ребенка.
Only priestesses are allowed to get water from the well. Up to now, my mother hasn't tried to make me into a priestess. If I'm lucky, she never will.
Ладно, ты не мстительный.
This symbol's on the bottom of the mirror bowl in the garden. No idea what it means. That's Mother's area of expertise.
Так, у нас тут есть король. Пошли с королем говорить.
Pa doesn't like getting up early. He always says he needs lots of sleep, but he's never said why.
В смысле?
Hey, Pa, the day started ages ago.
What?
Эльфы-мужчины точно так выглядят?
Ivo, how's my favourite daughter?
I'm your only daughter.
Oh, that I had 100. You are and will remain something very special. The other 99 will be as well, though.
Pa, you're nuts.
Сложно вертели. Сегодня чудесный день, правда?
Isn't it a wonderful day today? Again.
Just as the caterpillars cough in the morning dew. Yet, something seems to be troubling you.
Просвети меня, папа.
Enlighten me, Father.
The wide sky and the burning sun, high on the rooftop of the world, anger the humorless gods.
I'll need to have a think about that.
Мама обращается со мной, как с маленьким ребенком.
Enlighten me, Father.
The wide sky and
Подожди,
the
это то же
loved by
самое?
me like very little else are amongst the greatest wonders of the world.
She locked me up like a small child.
Have you argued again?
She started it.
She loves you.
And she only wants the best for me. How can it be best for me if she constantly criticizes me and forces me to do things that I don't want to do?
She believes that this will help prepare you for the life that awaits you.
I'd just like to decide for myself.
I know. Your mother just doesn't understand that because she never had that choice.
Они еще 4 варианта диалогов выкатили. Не защищай все время маму.
You are always defending her. Doesn't she drive you mad too?
Naturally.
Then why don't you tell her?
Does the GNU talk of spring when the shadows are tickling the squirrel? I love her. It's just a phase. She'll change. And if she doesn't change, then I will not love her any less. I love you both as you are, warts and all.
Ты тоже хочешь, чтобы я вышла за этого принца?
Mother wants me to marry this Prince Lalilos.
I did hear about that.
Is that your wish too?
All I wish for is for you to be happy.
Haha, so I'm not going to marry him.
Unfortunately, not all wishes are granted.
Oh.
You are an elf princess. You will need to marry sooner or later.
Папаша хотя бы это,
It's just
видно, что
when
говорит,
and
да?
who. I'd rather just leave that to Mother Nature.
I wish you could convince Mother of that.
I fear her faith in your taste of men has been shaken a little since... Well, you know. She wants to prevent your heart being broken again. That's why she's choosing someone that she thinks is right for you.
Ты бы использовал артефакт божественной судьбы?
Pa, would you have used the artifact of divine fate? Or would you have hidden it like we did?
I think that too much power can corrupt any one of us.
But you have great powers, and you've never used them for evil.
I could have cured diseased woodlands with the artifact, cleaned rivers in the air. And then what? Then I might have chased away the lumberjacks and destroyed the factories of the dwarves.
But I could have helped a lot of humans.
Things take time, Ivo. If you force change before its time's come, then it won't last.
Я беременна.
I need to tell you something, Father, but I'm not sure how.
You shouldn't worry too much. It's not good for the baby.
You know.
Has a zebra got stripes?
How can it have happened? Why?
I don't know. Is that important?
Забавно, почему?
It is.
Какие
I want to know
стримы?
what's happened to me.
Then look for the answers, my little bud.
How can you be so calm about it?
Because I know that everything will be fine in the end.
And if it isn't fine?
Then it is not the end.
Мне нужно съездить в Систон и встретиться с Архимагом.
If you don't know what the pregnancy's all about, then I'll have to travel to Seastone and ask the Archmage.
The fact that I don't know means that you did not get pregnant by natural means. And if something does not conform to the laws of nature, then it must be magic. No one knows more about these things than Alistair.
Я про то и говорю.
We agree then.
Like snails munching cabbage. Only your mother isn't going to permit it.
I know, but I'll work on that.
Просвети меня.
Enlighten me, Father.
The striped kakadu and the limping squirrel, loved by me like very little else, are amongst the greatest wonders of the world.
That is interesting.
До
I've
свидания.
got quite a lot to think about.
Goodbye, little daughter.
See you later, Father.
О.
This symbol's on the bottom of the mirror box.
Мамина епархия. Ну как мне, блядь, выяснить у нее что-нибудь?
I can blame Mother for a lot of things, but not laziness. On the contrary, she does the same work as 3 people put together, because she doesn't trust anyone to do it as well. Mother?
Yes, Ivadora.
А что значит символы на каменных табличках?
Those symbols on the columns, what do they mean?
First your insights concerning your wedding, and now an interest in the spiritual. You do surprise me. The 3 symbols depict the 3 different forms that water takes. They are important in many rituals. Water that falls from the sky. Water that springs from the earth. And water that is bathed by moonlight.
Oh.
Так. Вода с неба, вода из-под земли и вода связана с лунным светом. Окей. Ай, блядь. Я, наверное, все поняла, да? Что это значит, различные формы, которые принимает
What's all
вода?
this different forms of water all about then?
Not all water is the same. It changes.
Вода из-под крана в
If
кране,
it bubbles
только
out of the
холодная.
spring, then it is spring water. Then it turns into stream water, perhaps into river water, and then sometimes later into sea water. The voice of water changes, its soul.
And if different forms of water are
Спасибо,
mixed
самурай.
together,
Then you can create water with powerful magical properties. But it's not as easy as you might imagine. Water is constantly changing its form. Rain is water from the sky, but as soon as it lands in a puddle, then it becomes common puddle water.
Блин, а как нам устроить дождь? Спасибо, Шор, ты тоже ищешь. Мурай тоже умный, все умные. Мне нужна лунная вода.
that stuff in the moon well, that's water bathed by moonlight, isn't it?
Of course it is, my darling.
Could I take some of it?
It is holy water. We only use it for special occasions.
И ты умная
What
вертеля?
do you need it for?
Мне нужно приготовить зелье, это важный ингредиент.
I need it for a potion. It's one of the most important ingredients.
Really? What sort of potion?
Зелье роста для растений?
A growth potion. One could call it a kind of liquid fertilizer for arbor.
Arbor has always managed perfectly well without magic up to now, and the Moonwell water is much too precious to waste on flowers.
Насчет лунной воды. Я зелье. Хочу вдуть в воду как можно больше воздуха, а потом продать ее за большие деньги.
I just think that one could sell water with lots of bubbles in it for much more money than pure water.
What a strange idea! But why don't you just take normal water? Anyone falling for that will never know the difference.
Хорошо.
What do you...
Зелье. Из нее получится зелье красоты, но ты и так красивая, скажет она, да?
Oh, the moon waters are particularly pure and clean water. I thought that it could form the basis of a beauty potion.
It is true that this water is purported to have healing powers.
I didn't want to trouble you with this, but then I thought, if I'm meant to be looking my best for the prince...
Так она
then
про
such
это и
a
говорила,
potion
что
wouldn't do
минералка
any
дороже
harm.
обычной воды.
Oh, absolutely. Do you have a vessel? May the Moonwell water give you the help you need to become more beautiful, just as it has always helped me.
Спасибо, мамаша. Можно я не буду говорить с ней обо всякой хуйне?
See you later, mother.
Don't pull a face like a wilted
Никогда
willow,
не
I
знаешь,
heard.
в какой из вариантов диалога они вставят ключевой для предмета предмет, который маманя может дать. Вот ведь незадача, да? Надеюсь, это не тот случай. Так. Вода должна капать с неба. И вода должна бить из-под земли.
Right, now water that has been bathed in moonshine. That must mean the water that's come from the moonwell. It works. One of the symbols is glowing.
Раз мне дали лопату, значит, я должна где-то копать, правильно? И вот смотри, тут вроде можно что-то выкопать. Может, он, где у нас подземные воды есть?
You're having a good time, I see.
What can I do?
Мне нужна определенная вода.
I need a special sort of water arbor. Can you help me?
A special sort of water? Now, who's been dreaming that stuff up then?
Arbor, please help. I need water that spills out of the ground.
There, the waterfall. As much water as you want.
Oh, it's not that simple. That water's changed. I need water directly out of the earth.
You elves always like to make things complicated, don't you? You got a container? There you go. And don't start telling me that this is some kind of snot water or the like. This be tip-top quality groundwater.
Should work. Thank
Он
you.
из себя воду достал, но это же... Так, горшок золота у тебя
If
есть?
I happen to need a pot of gold and you happen to have one, would you be happy to lend it to me?
Or if I be the Sultan of the Three Deserts and you had juicy grapes,
Я хочу
would you
сочный
feed me?
виноград.
Okay, seriously, do you have a pot of gold?
Just like you have grapes and be the Sultan.
I have to get on. Don't work too hard.
That I won't.
Так.
Let's hope that Arbor's donation of water that spills from the earth will work. It hasn't really spilled from the earth, but it is groundwater, and it's never seen the sun. Aha! That's got the second symbol to glow. Earrings that sparkle and glint, beloved by women and fish. That looks promising.
А, то есть, хочешь сказать, можно было левел поднять? А можно я опять рыбачить? Не знаю зачем.
I've got what I need, but this is so much fun. And perhaps I'll have a bit of luck catching other interesting things in the pond. Oh.
Ясно, это, видимо, чтобы ускорить процесс, да? А вода из водопада — это не вода с неба, правильно?
The waterfall and I have been neighbours for so long that I don't really hear it anymore.
Бассейн для птиц, сюда вода наливалась с неба, нет? Но она уже коснулась
There's only a
земли.
little water left in the bird bath. Cheep Cheep always says that it evaporates quickly. I, however, think that the constant need to replenish...
А можно ее отсюда зачерпнуть, нет? Вода из водопада. А куда ее вылить? Нет, это было бы слишком просто.
That's a weeping willow.
Зачем мне нужна лопата? С диверсантом внутри. Но если я налью туда сраную воду, мне от этого будет плохо, да? Пошли, может, у маман есть эта вода дождевая? Но водопад, это ж не с неба, правильно? Ладно, пошли душные диалоги слушать.
Mother?
Yes, Ivadora.
Можем ли мы что-нибудь сделать с эпидемией в
Do you
Систоне?
know what can be done to fight the epidemic in Seastone?
Done? Nothing, my darling. It's a matter for humans. We will only observe.
How hard would it be for us to actually help solve a problem for once, instead of waiting for it to solve itself?
If Alistair needs my advice, he can ask me, and up to now he has not done that.
But...
I'm not going to interfere.
Как ты встретил папу?
When you married father, how long had you known each other?
Just a few days. I fell in love with him instantly. He was the wisest and most handsome elf that I had ever met.
And if you hadn't loved him, or if perhaps you hadn't even liked him,
then I would have married him anyway. It is the duty of the princess to secure royal succession.
whether she wants it or not.
You didn't want to go to school either. Today you can play music, paint, speak a dozen different languages and have realized what a gift education is. Please, just trust me. Sometimes only parents know what's best.
Ты действительно считаешь, что этот принц не подходит?
Why do you want me to marry this particular prince?
Because I think that will be best for you.
And if I don't like him?
Then you will learn to love him.
Why can't I fall in love first and then marry?
And what happens if you don't fall in love? You won't ever marry then? Don't be childish, Ivadora.
Ты действительно думаешь, что я выгляжу
Do
толстой?
you really think that I look fat?
You aren't really fat, my darling, but you aren't perfect either.
Do I have to be perfect?
No one is perfect, but that doesn't stop us striving for it. Once you are happy with yourself, then you become
Эти диалоги нихуя не дали.
overindulgent. Dissatisfaction can take you far, my darling.
See you later, Mother.
Don't pull a face like a wilted willow, Ivo. Smile.
Юраронь. Я просто боюсь, что если мне налить воду из пруда, из водопада, то мне скажут, иди нахуй. И заставят все делать заново. Я бы этого не хотела. Но это же не дождевая вода с неба, правильно? Зачем нам вообще тростник нужен? Первый уберите их, а семена мне зачем? Там же не должно быть примеси, наверное, да? Но дождя нет. Мы же не должны дождь вызывать. Работает.
Water from the waterfall. One could also say water that has fallen from the sky. Now all the symbols are
Да, это работает.
Hello? Are you there?
I'm always there.
А кто ты такой, где
I
ты?
did summon you, but I don't really know anything about you. Do you live in the water or are you the water?
No, the water is just a reflective surface. I live on the other side of the mirrors. I see what happens in front of mirrors. To you, they are simple reflections. To me, they are the window
Самурай, тебе
through
игра все
which
еще кажется
I view
смешной?
your world.
Okay.
Или нужно, чтобы появился Криттер? А в зеркале в моей спальне ты тоже есть?
So you live on the other side of all mirrors. Does that include the one in my bedroom?
I can look through any reflective surface. I see all.
You do close your eyes when it's the decent thing to do, right?
I see all.
Yes, understood. But if someone's undressing in front of their mirror or doing embarrassing things that no one else should see, you do look away, right?
I can see into the furthest reaches of the world. I see the good and the bad,
Вот ты на самом деле ничего не
the
пропустил.
beautiful and the abominable.
Ну, если что, спрашивай.
You saw me giving an imaginary harp concert in front of my mirror.
I count that amongst the abominable.
Нет, она смотрит на вещи похожие, на концерт с арфой воображаемой. Ты действительно знаешь все?
Are you really all-knowing?
No, but it sounds better than I am the seer who saw more than any other being in the world and yet didn't see all.
Что ты знаешь про эпидемию в
There's
Систоне?
talk of an epidemic in Seastone which is spreading. Do you know anything about it?
It is not an epidemic.
Well, what is it then?
It's something that you get involved with.
Can you see into the future?
Stories repeat themselves. Other places, other participants, but the course remains the same. Good fights evil.
А мама и другие вызывают тебя, чтобы спросить совета?
And mother and others summon you to ask your advice.
I wouldn't exactly describe it as asking. They know how to reach me via one of the mirrors. They want me to give them information, and if I don't answer, they just stand there and stare at me.
So you help them.
That is the question, is it not? Do I have an interest in supporting either one or the other side, or would I rather watch a catastrophe unfold?
So you'd pour oil onto the fire just because you want to watch the flames?
I could, but mostly I restrict myself to watching. I love to see how things develop. I can't abide when things come to a standstill. That's when I'm always tempted to give someone a shove in the right direction.
Я беременна, но не должна быть. Что ты об этом знаешь?
Why am I pregnant?
You are pregnant?
Should you not know that? You being the nearly all-knowing oracle.
I didn't see that. When did you get pregnant?
I'm asking you.
Stupid romance. A woodland glade, a bed in the cornfield, not a mirror in sight. Couldn't you and Nate have done that somewhere else?
Done what?
Oh, yes. Nothing at all, princess.
Мне нужен пароль, чтобы пройти
I need today's
стражу.
password for the Woodland Realm Border Watch. Do you know it?
Of course. Your mother told the commander of the guards when she was standing next to the mirror surface of the moon well.
Can I have it?
Absolutely. I want to see how this develops. And there are quite a few surprises awaiting you in Seastone.
Which, of course, you're not going to tell me about.
They wouldn't be surprises if I told you about them.
By any chance, is the password melon?
How do you know that?
Stories repeat themselves. Do you not know that?
Так, но мне все еще нужен горшок золота. А Шаня, это я. Папаша Нейтан, а не гном. Так. Самурай, вот это вопрос, кстати, интересный. Во всех 3 играх общий сюжет? Ну смотри, происходит... В фэнтези обычно происходит какая-то срака, и легендарные, великолепные герои эту сраку предотвращают. Вот, но в принципе в разных играх разные сраки. А остаются лишь герои те же. Уруру. Мое первое магическое заклинание неплохо,
I
да.
cast a spell over you single-handedly with no help.
You had help, you just didn't realise it.
No, I did it by myself.
I'm the all-knowing seer.
Дефифами,
I'm telling
привет.
you are wrong.
Thanks for that unsettling
Но он
conversation.
часто приходит, он
I
еще
have to go.
придет.
Yes, you must. But we will see each other again soon.
You mean to say you will see me and follow my every move?
Спасибо большое.
Yes, but I didn't
Хоть и
mean
нам
that.
пора уже работать.
You will seek me out before this story ends.
Really?
Yes, you will want to help a friend in need and won't know how to. That's when you will seek and find me.
Where will I find you?
Вот ты кот.
In a flying town, in a house with no corners. Till then, Princess Ivo of the Woodland Realm.
But, oh...
Так. Страницу, блин. Может, все-таки побольше ворон надо? Может, страниц еще 10? То ты потом все отложишь на потом. И будет очень грустно и плохо. 5-7, но напиши еще 2. И 2 завтра. Как тебе идея? Просто, если ты собираешься лечь спать, то да, но если ты собираешься смотреть игру, то лучше уж писать это. Доклад или что ты там пишешь? Я не знаю, что там пишут люди в универах. Так, горшок золота. Может, с птицей надо поговорить? Мы знаем пароль.
Hey, Cheap.
Хочешь еще семечек?
I've got sunflower seeds. Want one? I can imagine the whole experience has made you hungry. We will get through this together, right?
Знать бы еще, что это значит. Интересно, сможем ли... Так, скоро
I'll be back.
вернусь. Трактат мне что-нибудь скажет?
I wish there was something to indicate that the book was wrong, but unfortunately it's very sure, and I know
Зачем
it's
они
right.
решили всандалить сюда
I don't
беременность и шутки про
I don't
секс?
know
А,
how,
ради
and I
шуток
don't know
про
why.
секс? Потому что
I
эльфы...
just know that I
Ладно.
need to get out of here before Mother finds out. The Archmage and Seastone will know what to do.
Ну смотри, я знаю пароль. Почему я могу отсюда съебаться? Потому что у меня нет денег. За никак не связано, грамматическую ошибку балл занизят. Грамматическую, орфографическую, извините. У меня тоже минус балл.
I don't know how Cheap escaped the music box, but he does say he knows various mystical fighting techniques.
Угу. Идти во дворе... А, просто... То есть, подожди... Нет. Нет, идти во дворец это там. Как съебаться отсюда? Где выход на этом острове? Где охрана на этом острове? Кот, опять сейчас все уронишь. мне ничего нового не сказал же и не скажешь?
I don't know what I could.
Угу.
I know everything I need to know. Today's password is melon. When I use it at the border, the watch will have to let me pass. And by the time they find out they've been duped, I'll be in Seastone.
Ну, красиво. Ну ладно, даже 2 балла дам. Так, но... может, выход был там, где тронный зал? Статью писать. Так если тебе есть еще что писать, то надо писать. Пиши давай. Леха, выпусти меня из тронного зала. Спуститься в сад. Может, батям еще скажешь? Подавай, дочура, пиздуй. А?
Pa?
Yes, pop it.
Ладно,
I've got-
просвещать
Goodbye.
мне не
See you
нужно.
later.
Я знаю пароль, но я не знаю, как уйти. Да, маман там пишет, ей нечего сказать, да?
I'll leave her to work. This magical epidemic seems to be really worrying her.
У меня есть семечки, у меня есть лопата, у меня есть черви. Книга по плотничеству. Зачем мне? С кем мне еще поговорить, чтобы я что-то выяснила? Ива, дерево, библиотека, бассейн. Ваша лока здесь запаяна. А я не знаю, мы до него еще не дошли. С самого начала игры здесь только история эльфийки. Нет, в самом начале нам Нейта показали, он, наверное, где-то рядом с ним. Там что-то
The willow
ебануло.
is stretching its branches up high into the sky with glee. One part of the water.
Не, серьезно, как уйти-то, блядь, отсюда? Я могу только в библиотеку, в тронный зал и все. Зачем вертеть стойки? Чтобы смотреть на крутые отсылочки, так они не то чтобы крутые были. Я просто не знаю, как устроены эльфийские города. Я, может, где-то кнопку выхода не вижу. Через телескоп можно выйти? Он вроде не трогательный был. Было только вернуться во дворец, а вернуться во дворец это вот тут. Спрашивается, нахуя?
Sometimes it's difficult to believe that some creatures in our world have developed naturally. They look as if some bored artist has dreamt them up.
Зачем мне читать про рыбалку, если я все уже
I
знаю?
already know everything that this book can teach me.
Про шлем тоже все шутки закончились?
Helmets with horns. Cool, but useless.
Так мне ничего не говорит.
Since Nate left without saying so much as a word, Mother So far I've managed to frighten off every candidate.
Да, это мы уже знаем. Пароль я знаю, но где мне его применять-то, блядь?
There appears to be an amazing collection of stuff accumulated in the little pond. I wonder if there's anything there that could prove useful.
Я уже рыбачила и ничего не нарыбачила. Лопату я не дам. Зачем мне лопату? Ну пока что да, но я вот должна выбраться отсюда. Но пока не могу. И мы встретимся потом с ребятами, я надеюсь. Я могу качать рыбалку.
Nothing.
19 уровень рыбалки. Пароль я знаю. Бассейн для птиц. Зачем? Что?
There's only a little water left. I, however, think that the constant need to replenish the water is more...
Бла-бла-бла. Ну давай, можно налить воды туда? Сколько, не знаю, 1700, 600? Можно наполнить бассейн для птиц. Зачем?
Right then. Fresh water for the bird bath. If I do succeed in escaping, it'll be a while before Cheap is able to bathe in his basin again. Do I have the right to drag him into this? He should really have the choice of returning as soon as I escape.
Так, я наполнила ему бассейн. Что, я кину сюда семечки? Может, ему в рот семечки насыпать?
That's a weeping willow.
Да отстань от своей ивы. Чик-чирик, будешь семечки? Будешь?
I've got sunflower seeds. Want one? I can imagine the whole experience has made you hungry. We will get through this together, right?
Я уже слышала этот диалог. Семечки ты не ешь. Проблема в том, что птица меня не пускает. Мне нужно как-то птицу сюда, блин, запустить. Червей будешь?
Hey, Cheap. Do you want a few worms? Yes, nice fat juicy ones. I really shouldn't tease him anymore. Cheap is a vegetarian and a gourmand. Worms are no more a delicacy to him than they are to me.
Ему уже не с чем. Бля, я сделала все, что могла. Я просто не могу понять, как съебаться из локации. Или не все, что могла, а? Буду наполнять кувшин водой, пока не это. Пока мне не придет искрометная мысль в голову. Ой, извините. Можно, что можно? С кем-то поговорить, но она говорит, не знаю. Бля, я полезла смотреть, как мне отсюда уйти. Потому что я сдаюсь. Да как прыгать? Тут даже кнопки нет прыгнуть. Вот сейчас уронишь все. Но отсюда можно как-то сбежать. Ну как, может мне рыбалку, блин, качать? Я даже прохождение опять найти не могу. Вдруг сейчас я найду легендарную рыбу-акулу, которая увезет меня из этого эльфийского замка.
Nothing. Nothing.
Нет. Вот, ну не надо меня бить, блин, вот больно. Ой, пойдем на диван, ты же меня убьешь. Я же даже тебя не трогала. Фу. Ай, Кусь. С мамой не поговоришь, с этим не поговоришь. С кем поговоришь? Это сделано. Ачивку за рыбалку мне не дают. Почему не дают? Должны дать. Чего, блять? Смотреть на пруд. Я смотрела в него.
There appears to be an amazing collection of stuff accumulated in the little pond. I wonder if there's anything there that could prove useful.
Ну я уже сколько ловила рыбы здесь.
Pity. I have bait and spoon bait on the fishing line. That's as good as it gets. I have bait.
Охуеть, папаша! Вон оно чё! Смотри! Ну что ж деревянное?
Perhaps the tree would like to hear a little story from the book.
Ой, это же
One
гусь!
can easily fell a tree with the help of an axe and wedges. In my experience, nothing beats a sharp saw guided by two men. Slish, slash! The teeth of the saw bite into the wood, and in a few minutes, even the largest tree tumbles to the ground. After this, the smaller branches and the bark are removed from the trunk using hatchets. Once the tree is sawn into several pieces, it's ready to be transported away. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Теперь Ива стала
It'll
плакучей.
be all right. You'll
Прости.
see.
Радуга, лепрекон, да? Бля, вон что. Только я не понимаю, почему я не могу поймать то, что нужно. Ура!
A classic.
Может быть, еще можно что-то найти?
There appears to be an amazing. I wonder if there appears to be an amazing collection. I wonder if there. I wonder. There appears. I wonder.
Все то же самое. Ива расстроилась, чтобы радуга была, чтобы мы съебались отсюда. Ну смотри, 25-й точно должен быть счастливым, да? Yay!
A fishing hat, which not so long ago I thought was extremely hideous, but now I am the master of all rods, the ruler of the river, and the goddess of the water. And what's more, I'm looking good. That's me and fishing done. I've reached my peak.
Все, с рыбалкой закончу. У меня теперь есть модная шляпа. Ладно, пошли еще пару очевок выбьем. А что на шляпе? Ракушки всякие, прибамбасы.
Pa?
Yes, Poppet?
И никаких лутбоксов не надо. Что думаешь о моей шляпе?
The exact opposite of fashionable. Therefore, it must be very useful.
It makes me a master fisherwoman.
Ah, you could have become one of those if you had fished for a few hundred years. Now the hat has robbed you of all that pleasure.
Просвети меня.
Enlighten me, father.
The striped cockatoo
Ты это уже говорил.
Enlighten.
The moth and the dandelion, denied by those who are unwary, bring the little llama to tears.
Видишь, там еще и лама до слез доводят.
I'll need to have a think about that.
Ладно, до
I've got
свидания.
quite a lot to think about.
Goodbye.
See you.
Пошли копать золото. А чё я не додумалась-то доебаться до нее?
There's a rainbow. Since the willow's branches are hanging down for some inexplicable reason, the sun is able to shine directly onto the waterfall again and is now producing a pretty rainbow over the garden.
Значит ли это, что теперь я могу выкопать горшочек золота, потому что я знаю про лепреконов? Нет?
I don't know what I could...
Нет, не знаю. Но почему? А может, она куда-то в другое место светит? Как мне скрипт запустить? Чик-чирик. Ага.
Hey, Cheap. Do you
Сможем
think
ли
I
мы
could play the
площадки по
princess
грифу?
card and ask the stud to load? Yeah, you're
Чип,
right.
да.
I'll be back soon,
А
Cheap.
мне кажется, ли я где-то видела шляпу, похожую на лепреконскую? Вот она, но почему она не трогательная?
I wish there was something to indicate that the book... I'm pregnant, but just
Понятно.
know that I...
Ну я же ее вижу, она должна быть как-то связана со всем этим. Кстати, тут автосейвы же есть? Вроде как да, 2 часа уже наиграла. Или надо было просто несколько раз кликнуть на нее? Я же ее уже осматривала.
Others will judge whether it was worth traumatizing the willow for this, but the rainbow certainly adds a certain je ne sais quoi.
Что, теперь можно? А конец радуги здесь. Я просто в пиксель не попала.
A pot of gold, and no grumpy leprechaun protecting it. What a stroke of luck.
Что, теперь можно съебывать? Чип.
Hey, Cheap.
У меня есть горшок золота, можешь отнести его в
I
конюшню?
have the pot of gold here. Go on, take it to the stud. Oh, I realise it's too heavy. I won an arm wrestling contest against an orc warrior in Seastone with the help of a strength
Каждый
elixir.
охотник, а я не
Get
знаю.
something like that for you.
Скоро вернусь.
I'll be back soon, Cheap.
Может, он должен покушать, чтобы стать большим и сильным? Он не будет, да? А червей он тоже не будет?
Hey, Cheap. Do you want a few? Yeah. Cheap is a...
А тростник мне нахуя нужен? Что-то мне становится все сложнее и сложнее. Почему нас заставляет его переть чертов горшок? Почему ты сама не можешь этого сделать? Зачем я наливала воду для него? Чтобы положить в нее червей? Положить в нее семечки? Горшок золота, блин, куда мне внести? Ёб твою мать. Серьезно, они такую большую локацию сделали? Ты мне больше ничего не говорил?
You're having a good time, I
А,
see.
теперь с ним можно разговаривать.
What can
А?
I do for you?
Я положил твою лопату там. А, ну да, и правда
I
положил.
don't need your spade anymore. I've put it over there.
Ah, that's great. And you've dug a lovely hole, too, right in the middle of my lawn.
Ah, sorry about that.
Oh, what the heck. I'll plant it with something.
I have to get on. Don't work too hard.
That I won't.
Мы вернули лопату. Но вроде она сказала, что лепрекон не появился. Значит, наверное, нормально все, да? Тут больше ничего не осталось.
I think I fished enough today. There are other things to do.
Замечательно. Удочка-то у меня пропала из инвентаря, нет?
Pa?
Yes, Poppet?
Гипотетически, если Чип-Чипу нужно перенести горшок золота.
Hypothetically, if Cheep Cheep had to transport something heavy through the air, how could I help him do it?
You could ask me to give him the necessary strength. Which you have just done, have you not?
Really?
Of course. But the effect would not last long enough to transport you to, let's say, Seastone.
He doesn't need to do that. It's just a short distance.
All right. Bring me some sunflower
А у меня
seeds.
есть. Вот.
I have a few sunflower seeds. Here.
Good. Keep still.
Ух ты.
That's it.
Just give Cheep Cheep these seeds to eat shortly before he starts on his journey.
Thanks.
Ты наложил на них
Whatever you
заклинание?
did to those sunflower seeds looked like magic to me.
Oh no, it was the opposite of magic. Nature, life, pure life.
And what exactly do you mean by that?
Listen to the wind in the willows and the mole and the toad. They know the answer.
Я пыталась убрать кота, и, возможно, он задел хвостом ее, а она не то чтобы крепко была привинчена к этому, к монитору, поэтому она и ёбнулась. Или, возможно, я ее локтем
I've
задела.
got quite a lot to think about.
Goodbye, little daughter.
Либо я, либо
See you
кот. В
later,
общем, кто-то из
father.
нас виновен в произошедшем. Хочу новый локу. У меня есть магические семечки, на.
Father's changed the sunflower seeds. Well, can you feel anything? Now, don't exaggerate.
Где мой горшочек?
Okay, here. Oh, I hope it works. But what's he going to be like when he's super cheap? He's got enough of an exaggerated opinion of himself as it is.
Мы теперь знаем пароль. Можно съебать отсюда? Она самая.
Oh, that's overdoing it a bit. I thought you just wanted to deliver the pot of gold. You deserve it.
Ты про что, Eternal Revo?
It's really in there, is it? Our hippogriff? Why did the stud put it in there? Couldn't they have just let it fly back with you? You mean it was in the box already? You didn't actually see it? I'd love to have your trust. Oh well, at least it's pretty lively.
А, ты про Йента. Как выглядят
Cheap blind
гиппогрифы?
purchased the hippogriff. His trust in the Aculeus stud is far greater than his mistrust of humankind's capacity to deceive. Relax, I'm on it. You've still got the receipt, haven't you, Cheap?
Um,
Cheap? Didn't the hippogriff in the magazine look a bit different to this? bigger, a bit more griff and a bit less hippo.
Привет, Розарит! Смотри, он умеет летать.
Is
Чуть-чуть.
this the effect of the epidemic? Mother said it changed things.
Мы точно на нем поедем?
You are strong enough, aren't you? You were able to demolish that box just now.
Ой, ты мне аж кишку
Can
скинул,
you
дай
carry me as
посмотрю
far as
сейчас.
Seastone?
Актер.
Right then.
Поросенок точно не хряпнет под
The
нами?
Archmage. Murdered? By Wilbur Weathervane?
Чего?
There's something strange afoot, Cheap. Mark my words. I don't believe a word of it. Someone's responsible for this epidemic and someone wants to hurt our friends. Away to Seastone.
Блин, оно все-таки летает. Несколькими днями ранее в Систоуне. Наконец-то
My
гном!
name is Weathervane, Professor Weathervane.
You want to teach us?
Well, yes. Why not?
You're a gnome! Gnomes can't do magic!
I can and have. During my mage training, yes?
My mother also says that you should not be a teacher. But I think you're great, Professor.
Oh, thank you.
Say, Professor, what exactly is the magic constant? How long must Veritaserum mature? What can you tell us about ancient magic runes?
Так, Фишулькин. Какая важная фифонька! Сидит на колоночке, она такая маленькая, как она на колонку залезла. Тю-ти! Красота! Голова в облаках, почему? Солнышко с головой или что? Кажется, ты много знаешь о магии.
You seem to really know a lot about magic.
More than you, anyway. Maybe we should switch places.
Maybe you should shut your... we never talked to teachers like that in my day.
Well, we do in mine. We'd like to have answers to our questions.
Из углерода. Ау. Я могу ответить на это, но попозже.
I will answer all your questions, but not now.
О, у меня
It's
кто-то умер
time
в
for
воде.
history of magic.
Then I have a history question. As everyone knows, gnomes are completely incompetent when it comes to magic.
Нет.
To be exact,
Там мух.
only one great gnome mage has appeared in the last 800 years. He defeated Gremar, the last of the great dragons. What was the name of that last great gnome mage?
Блин, ну я хочу пить, но я не хочу пить воду с мухой. Интересно, муха была в стакане или муха была в графине? Может, там много мух, а я их не заметила? А вроде нет. Сейчас приду. С мухой не хочу. Она маленькая. Там мушка такая. Неподходящее время.
Not right now. We will open your textbooks to page 100 and...
So, I was right, wasn't I? You know nothing, not even the name of the only great mage your own people ever produced.
Его звали, не задавай глупых
He was
вопросов.
called, sit down at your desk properly and don't ask stupid questions.
But don't they say there are no stupid questions, only stupid answers? And that there aren't supposed to be any bad students, only
Надо
bad
придушить этого
teachers.
ребятенка.
I just need a drink of water. Frog in my throat.
Ha!
Меня заумнили ребятишки.
Oh man,
Master Marcus warned me that the students would test me the first few hours, but this is a nightmare. I don't know all of these things. I know nothing. Easy, boy, easy. Think,
Easy.
Wilbur, think.
А это... Да, это реально он подрос, Фридолин.
This is Fridolin, my rabbit sheep.
Фридолин.
I had to cast the transformation spell during my mage training, and this is the result. I think we make a good team. A young mage and his rabbit sheep fighting side by side as a force for good. Unfortunately, Fridolin doesn't do much other than lay in bed and eat. I still have to convince him it's important.
Что у нас
The
на
bed is
кровати?
pretty cozy. It's so cozy that Fridolin is curled up in it. But that's okay. Friends share. And he lets me sleep at the foot end. Earlier, in a situation like this, I would have holed up in bed and hoped that everything would somehow take care of itself. But those days are gone. I'm a professor of magic, and I have to solve my own problems. Teddy is just, a keepsake and some moral support from home. Soft and cuddly moral support. Ah, my wand. The King of Thieves got it for me during my mage training. He and the other rats have been tirelessly helping to rebuild the city in recent months. They work closely with the Archmage, albeit mostly in secret.
Палочку возьмем и заколдуем наглого ребятенка, так?
I still haven't figured out exactly how it works. Sometimes it performs the most amazing magic, sometimes it can't even perform the simplest of tasks. Archmage Alistair has promised to have a look at it sometime. Maybe it has a loose connection or something.
Такс.
A
Миска
bowl of
воды.
fresh, cool water for my roommate.
Он хотя бы заботится о своем зверюшке. Ну как заботиться? Сейчас я заберу эту миску. И
There's no
все.
way I'm taking a
Нет,
bowl
не
with me.
можешь.
I mean, how am I supposed to put a bowl of water into my pocket without getting my robe soaking wet? It's not like I can just carry anything around. But I could use the bowl here in the room. Do you want some water, Fridolin? He seems to be hungry more than anything.
Печь.
The entire school building is a bit scary. No one knows exactly where it was the last 20 years. It disappeared overnight and then reappeared just as suddenly once the war ended.
Война все-таки
There's a lot of
закончилась?
magic in
Ну,
these old
хорошо.
walls. The stove is always on, for example, and even though I've never put any wood in it. A magical stove is a fine thing in England, but in the summer,
Sorry.
this small room can quickly become sweltering.
Почувствовать тепло, ну давай. Спасибо.
Ow! That stone is definitely more than just warm.
Спасибо. 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 Ушная трубка. Ой, там еще, смотри, очечки.
These are the aviator
Не, у меня
goggles that my
аллергия.
granddad gave me before my first trip to Seastone. Well,
Спасибо.
pair of aviator goggles. The original pair was lost when Grandad fired me out of the cannon. That's when I found out Grandad has a whole box of these goggles. Every time he tries to persuade some idiot to do something stupid, he makes a rousing speech and then hands over his old aviator goggles.
Там была одна шутка хорошая.
My whole family stayed in the White Ridge Mountains. Why would they even want to come to Seastone? This isn't their world. Little Sydney can walk now and reach everything that's on the workbenches. That tripled her invention output. Meggie doesn't build battle robots anymore since the war is over. Now she's experimenting with computing machines. But Grandad said there's no future in it. It wasn't easy to tell them I'm not an engineer but a mage instead. Mum said she'd always suspected it.
Опять шутка.
This is my contract, signed by the Archmage. I'm the first teacher in a school of witchcraft and wizardry, at least the first since the school reappeared. At first I didn't want to accept. I know almost nothing about magic. But Master Alistair said there are very few mages left, and I had completed mage training faster than anyone else. I was the right person for the job. I wanted to help and learn more about magic, so I agreed. Hopefully that was the right decision. I wouldn't want to disappoint Master Alistair.
Удар по ебалу вызывает эмоции и чувства. В отличие от здешних шуток.
Mages use balls like this to communicate over long distances. Master Marcus explained it to me. He'll know how I can tame those unruly students.
Ну давай сейчас наколдуй что-нибудь.
So, what was that number again? 64731?
Фу, у него 4 пальца.
Ah! Oh, wrong number!
У тебя даже номера нет.
I can't remember Master Marcus's number. I had it written in my notebook.
Угу. Нам нужен ноутбук, значит. Возможно, он в мусоре. Блокнот, то есть, извините.
It looked like this before I ever moved in. Generations of teachers must have left their stuff here. I like it. The school has a history, and when I have time, I'll rummage through it. A few of the crates and boxes are labelled. Hands off. Property of the half-blood prince. Schrödinger. That box could hold a dead cat. Or not. Master Marcus and the Archmage were so busy rebuilding the city that no one had the opportunity to teach me anything about teaching. This box was in a shop window down in the city.
О, я такой гик.
After all, there are children with magic wands on it. But unfortunately, it just seems to be a bunch of those tricks. Like that old one with Mr. Wupperman, the top hat and the rabbit. Short white rope, pair of dice, playing cards, and a guide on how to lead people up the garden path. That's just not right. Real magic or none at all.
Так, собачий корм.
It can't be healthy in the long run for Friedlin to always eat parchment and old scrolls. Perhaps he'd like the pet food I bought.
Мы будем кормить. Рассыпать еду по кровати. Зачем? Потому что иначе он не ест.
Okay, we'll do it like this. I'll give
А,
you
вот
some
где мой
delicious
блокнот.
pet food, and you give me my notebook back. Okay, buddy? All right, me first. Okay. Now give me my notebook, please. Hey, I thought we had a deal. Maybe I can lure Friedlin away from my notepad. That's it. That's all there is. Hey, Friedlin, look! Food! All you have to do is hop over here and get it.
Бля, он слишком умен.
Wow! My rabbit sheep has superpowers.
Это Дима Ривз.
Now the food is gone and Friedlin is still hungry. No wonder I didn't do it right. It says, space-saving instant dry food. Soak in water before feeding. Ah, crap.
Так она пустая. Какой у тебя смешной дёгаш улыбается. Ему вроде нравится, это самое главное. Тёти. Так а я уже никак, нечего уже мочить. Пустая упаковка.
Friedelin's crazy about this stuff. And I've never even prepared it properly.
Ты дурак, блин.
A beautiful golden ear trumpet. One of my predecessors must have laid it up there. A very tall predecessor. This
Ботинки.
has to be the oldest shoe I've ever seen. It's so old it's even lost its ability to stink.
Ненавижу!
That's strange. There's paper in the bottom of the shoe. Oh, maybe the shoe has a hole and the paper is supposed to protect the wearer from getting wet feet. It's a sheet from a book. It's folded in the middle and printed on both sides. That equals 4 pages. It wasn't torn out. It looks more like the glue weakened and the sheet fell out. I'll just take it with me.
Да бля, Ульф, я должна перестать верить Саше, как минимум после тех 3 раз, как он наебал меня на 1 апреля. Выпавший
Folded
лист.
sheet from a book. A total of 4 pages were printed on it. I don't know what kind of...
Капризная палочка. Куда ее можно? Давай трансформируем его, нет?
I've thought a few times about whether I should try to fully transform Friedlin into a sheep or back into a rabbit. But he seems to be quite happy the way he is, and I'm afraid that I might accidentally transform him into an elephant or a skunk or a dog.
Можно куда-то сунуть воду. Вопрос куда? Пить он не будет. Можно выйти в
I don't
класс?
know much about the history of magic.
Угу.
I wanted to read a book about it, but I couldn't find anything relevant in the whole school. I'm not
Страницы
sure
отвлечь.
Friedlin would prefer this paper to that in my pad. Besides, I might still need the book page for something.
Пустой коробкой его отвлечь.
Well, buddy? What are you eating there? Hey, that's my notepad.
Ну что еще? Ну палка, ну корм, ну выпавший лист. Ну что? Будешь пить? Разбухнет и сдохнет?
How about some water to wash the food down? That's what I thought. Food was pretty dry, right?
Ей, блядь.
See how well I take care of you? Then maybe we could talk about my notebook. Oops. I'll read the instructions next time, promise. Sorry. It says, Master Marcus, only in emergencies. 64179.
Спокойной ночи,
This
Сора.
is definitely an emergency. I'm losing my students' respect before I even had it.
64179.
Well, 6417 and 9. Hopefully this will work this time.
Yes? Hello?
Master Marcus!
Wilbur, what is it?
У меня есть очень надоедливый студент.
There's this boy who's naughty and cheeky and he doesn't listen to me.
Wilbur, you're a teacher now. Of course the students are naughty and outrageous. You have to assert yourself.
I've only been a teacher for a few days and I'm all alone. And the school is eerie and there's no textbooks and no one wants to learn anything and...
Wilbur, no one expects you to be the perfect teacher right away. Wake your students' enthusiasm for magic. That would be a good start.
Видимо, когда-то жили великие драконы, гном.
Apparently there was a powerful gnome mage a long time ago. Did he kill any dragons?
According to legend, the last of the great dragons, Gremma, was defeated by a gnome.
That's the one I mean. What was that gnome's name?
No one knows. He arrived at a time of great need and saved the people of the Southlands by accomplishing the impossible. Then he disappeared without a trace.
Wow. But one of my students asked me for his name.
Then he probably wanted to lead you up the garden path. Some students want to find your weaknesses and see how far they can go. Don't take any guff.
Блин, а там тоже картинка с зевотой. Почему я должен учить тут в одиночку? Где все остальные
Why do I
учителя?
have to teach her all alone? Why aren't there any other teachers?
Many mages died during the war. There are only a few of us left. And most of those who survived are now pursuing more lucrative activities. Alchemy, ghost hunting, children's birthday parties.
But training new mages is important. If the rest are just out for the gold, then who will take care of the next generation?
Being a teacher is an important and honourable task, Wilbur, even when others fail to appreciate that.
А почему вы не преподаете в
If it's such an
школе?
important task, why aren't you teaching at this school?
Politics. My brother is the Archmage, and he's in the middle of an election campaign. If he were to give his own brother a job, well, his opponents would just love that. But I'm not angry. I did my part. I trained mages when no one else would. And I found the most talented gnome mage the world has ever seen.
Боюсь представить, что я показывала. Я хотела по-настоящему увлечь своих студентов, но как мне это
You
сделать?
said I should inspire my students, but how am I supposed to do that? I don't know anything about the history of magic.
Obviously not, otherwise you would know that you'll never attract anyone with that subject.
But it's in the curriculum.
Oh, bugger the curriculum. Do what you're good at. Cast spells. Fill them with wonder. Make them want to be able to do the same.
But I don't know how.
Wilbur, you conjured a sheep out of a hat, and you didn't know how to do that either. Go out there and knock them dead. Let the magic do the work. You may not know what you're doing, but you're doing it.
Just do some magic.
Just do some magic.
У меня действительно есть талант к магии, правда?
Your brother called me a natural talent. I am really quite good at magic, right?
You did some incredible things during your training.
I just wish I could control the magic better. Sometimes it just bubbles out of me, and other times, nothing.
I think that will come with time. And if not, you will have to rely on your ingenuity.
Thanks for your help, Master Marcus. I'll get through the lesson one way or another, and I'll get back in touch, okay?
Sorry, but no, Wilbur. You caught me packing. I'm off to spend 2 exciting weeks with a couple of friends.
What, you got on vacation? Well, now?
Maybe it's more than just a holiday. I sold the mage school, as you know. I want to start something new. Finally do what I really want to do. Role-playing games.
Role-playing games?
Live role-playing games. They start in a few days. We leave the normal world of magic, monsters, and dungeons behind and immerse ourselves in a fantasy world. I play a removals contractor who is caught in a traffic jam with his truck and must therefore spend a night in a motel. Can you imagine what adventures could be waiting there for me?
But I thought being a teacher was really important, and...
That it is. Have fun.
Master Marcus! Hello?
Чё, теперь можно отчитываться перед студентами и колдовать им всякую магию?
Come on, Wilbur. You can do it. You can inspire your students. That's better.
So what about the magic runes?
No one knows the name of the gnome that defeated Grandma. Nice try. Feet off the desk, or I'll make it bite them off. Enough with history of magic. Let's cast some spells. Fairy games. Doesn't sound bad, right?
Блин, тут такие ужасные шутки в мире магии про ролевые игры, про обычный мир людей. Но почему это не смешно?
Not bad, eh? Wow. That is magic. And here you can learn how to control it.
Может, это было смешно когда-то?
Tomorrow we'll do something else.
Я не дропаю игры. Как мы? Они подарили?
Sorry, honey. Get rid of that, will you? I need a word with Mr. Weathervale.
Давай, что последнее дропнуло? Блять, иди в жопу.
Mr. Weathervane, nice to finally meet you in person.
Это слишком хорошо разошлось. А вы...
And you are?
How very precious. I rather thought it'd be wise to watch out for you, Mr. Weathervane.
Why watch out for me?
You only play the innocent little
Как думаешь,
country
эта
yokel.
женщина
I
очень
always
злая?
knew that. Your patron, Archmage Alistair, will not win the election against me. Did you know that we're only 3 points behind him in the latest polls?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Блин, тут должна быть шутка про то, что я забыла, сколько игральные кубики мне нужно приносить на игру. Но этой шутки не будет. 7 лет игре, но 15, да, 7, а предыдущий было 13 лет. Ну и что? Ну не 13, 13 минус 3. В России релиз 10 лет назад был. Тьфу ты, блин, да, да. Чем могу вам помочь?
How may I help you?
Help me? One of the Archmage's top men wants to help me. You know how the game is played, don't you?
What game?
Things are heating up. The House of Cards is starting to collapse. I know it, and Alistair knows it too. We both lie low, waiting for the other to make a mistake. And he has made the first.
7 лет назад не верю. Или верю? Юмор не может измеряться временем. Да? Семь лет назад я также смеялась с шуток про какашки. И сейчас, значит ли это, что я стою на месте? Может, мне нужно смеяться вот над такими вещами, и я буду легендарной обаятельной женщиной-хохотушкой? Не хочу. Не смешно. В джоулях должна быть еще шутка. Так. Мне не нужен карточный домик.
I'd rather play solitaire. Or can I just watch?
Well said, Weathervane.
Нет, Роричан.
This time, there can be no spectators. Everyone is either for us or against us. This time, it's about the future of this town and the entire country.
Я бы поела, если бы не проспала сегодня все к чертям. Мне, думаешь, тоже нравится голодной сидеть? Нет. Какую ошибку якобы совершил мастер Алистер?
What mistake did the Archmage make?
He hired you. A gnome with a fake diploma issued by none other than the Archmage's brother Marcus.
I earned my diploma honestly. I have passed all 3 of the exams and...
Gnomes know nothing of magic. Everyone knows that. And you've never taught before.
But Archmage Alistair believes in me.
As the head mage, he appoints the professors. But I'm the merchant council leader and I assign the administrative posts. Headmaster Block will reveal your incompetence and the newspapers will report on the Archmage's dubious personnel policy before the election.
Знаете, что я вам могу сказать? Вы упускаете очень важный элемент игры из-за моего лица, поэтому я сделала вот так. Вы не должны были стрелять по моим феям.
You shouldn't have just shot my fairy.
Do not underestimate me, Mr. Weathervane. I am very well aware that those are not fairies. Cobolus Vergastus, flying kobolds. Don't tell me you conjured them up yourself.
Yes, I did. All 5 of them.
Amazing! Powerful magic is needed to manifest living creatures. That is why most necromancers only reanimate
Как-то, мне кажется, это даже
Dead
лучше.
matter can be much more easily controlled, as of course you know. Or should know.
Так, ладно, где я? Ать? Ну, в общем, ничего вы не упустили, хорошо. Да не, у меня в холодильнике еда, а холодная еда не очень вкусная. Кто новый директор школы?
The new headmaster. Who is he?
Horatius
привет.
Block. A good man. very correct.
Горациус Блок, мне
Very
кажется, он злодей.
If he can help this school return to its former glory, I look forward to working with him.
Former glory? This old ruin, it was already run down back in my day. And wherever it was for the last 20 years, it definitely looks like they didn't have any cleaners.
Архимаг Алистер — великий человек, и он мой друг.
My friend, Archmage Alistair, is better suited to bring the city and the country back into shape than anyone else.
Oh, you believe that? He is a great mage. Anyone who doubts that is mad. And he was a great leader during the war.
Марк, у тебя был торт?
But what we need now is someone who understands the economy.
And that's you?
I am a rich and successful merchant. I have rich and successful friends. Who could be better suited to making others rich and successful?
Alistair would step down for you if you
Yay,
believe that.
торт.
You know what? I actually believe you're right. Strange, isn't it? How little he worries about defending his power.
So I guess it's all been said, hasn't it?
Indeed. You're on a sinking ship, Withervane, but I could still be
Оно,
convinced
наверное,
to
к
throw you a
лучшему.
lot
Пришлось бы
for
потом
that.
монитор
I
отмывать.
trust the Archmage.
Then, Mr. Withervane, you shall perish with him. Here, elect Sybil Van Buren. She knows how to get it done. Come along, honey, we're leaving.
There aren't any of these in my book of fairy tales, Mama.
Таких моих
I
книг.
know,
Пошла
honey.
нахуй.
Who wants to look at something that ugly?
Can you turn him into a unicorn? Or the Cheshire Cat? Or the Frog Prince?
Можешь превратить его в единорога? Так, у меня было 2 ученика, теперь у меня нет никого. Кроме большой локации, в которой я проведу ближайшие 40 часов. Ябай. Я беру палочку.
It didn't let me down this time, though. It worked even better than I expected. It was like it wanted to conjure. I could hardly keep it under control.
Доска.
Ooh, crazy drawings and symbols. That must be really high magic. Only the wisest mages can understand all that.
Аппарат какой-то. На холодильник похож, странно.
Unusual. This device looks more like ordinary engineering than it does magic. Most magical devices have lots of golden parts, elaborate decorations, and bells and whistles, just the way the mages like them. This one could easily come from a gnome workshop.
Кажется, я переварила с помощью желудочного сока большую часть своего желудка. Ты моей смерти хочешь, да?
What does it say? The apparatus that corrupted student Allardyce. A warning to those who do not want to accept the limits of magic. It seems a student by the name of Allardyce made this apparatus and it brought him grief. I don't know why. Compared to the things lying around back home in Gnome Hole, this apparatus doesn't look particularly dangerous.
Может, мы его подергаем?
What does it say? The apparatus...
Но мы это уже знаем. Ладно, все, хватит. Яблоко.
Teachers are traditionally paid in apples. I got this one myself, because I didn't want to spend my first day without an apple. I wanted to ask the Archmage whether good teachers can expect any other form of payment than apples. But when he showed me the beautiful contract with the seal and all that, it just didn't seem to be the right time to talk about gold.
Блин, работать за яблоки неплохо. Если ты...
This book looks very old and important. Half the class had runny noses, most were recaptured. This is the roll book where the teacher writes down any unusual events. Maybe I can find something in the roll book about this Allardyce mentioned in the note on the apparatus. Here. Despite repeated warnings, young Allardyce continued his experiments on his fire maker. To my great regret, I must say that the device works. He demonstrated it to the staff. We had to have him committed to the asylum in Arkhamstone because of his delusions and insubordination. A wizard who invents a fire maker and then committed to an insane asylum by other wizards. I guess they didn't understand his new kind of magic back in their time, or they figured their monopoly was in danger. For a long time, wizards were the only ones allowed to make fire.
Зажигатель, он огонь сотворяет. Еще есть тут что читать?
Maybe I'll find another entry on Allardyce. Yes, here, bit earlier. Today I made a disturbing discovery. Young Allardyce, very gifted but also nonconformist, was making drawings of an apparatus. This apparatus could start a fire without magic. Of course, I took the paper away from him and showed it to the headmaster. He ordered 2 weeks of detention in the dungeon and added the drawing to the offender's file.
Зажигать огонь без магии, он пригодится.
Talented mage invents a fire maker and is locked up for it. The machine remains on display as a warning. Pretty steep, but it fits with the stories about mages in earlier times. They were the only ones allowed to start fires. It was against the law for normal people. If the fire in a house went out, they had to call a mage, and of course, he charged for his work. They used to say, the faster the coin falls through the slot, the faster the wand makes the stove grow hot. Nowadays, everyone makes their own fire.
Все, отстать нужно от журнала. Не трогать штуки. Другие штуки. Которые наверняка очень полезны.
I don't know who that boy was. He was a right pain in the ass. However, he seemed to understand a great deal about magic, and if I managed to teach him some manners, he could be an excellent student.
Может, он забыл что-нибудь злобное?
Generations of students have left their mark, especially in the form of little pictures and sayings carved into wood. Here's a particularly long one. For all drifters and troublemakers, condemned to write the same sentence on the board over and over again, no problem. Cast the automation spell on the piece of chalk and it does it all the work for you. Bartholomew. Hey, aye, that's cheating. Pretty clever, though. The spell carved into wood down there, I'll just write it down.
Эй, отсылки. Что за заклинание-то хоть? Заклинание феи, заклинание автоматизация. А можно наложить заклинание автоматизации на... Ладно.
Oh, Chantal forgot her book. Seems to be a book of fairy tales, but one of the tackier kinds. My dad used to read me fairy tales when I was a kid. The bloodthirstiest, most cruel, creepy, proper fairy tales. I'll just leave it there. Chantal can take it tomorrow.
Но я хочу сказки.
This is the desk that Chantal, the daughter of the council leader, and little Timmy share. Hard to imagine two students being any more different. Chantal is only here because of its tradition in her family, and I don't think she really cares about magic or has any real talent for it. Timmy, though, well, he is eager to learn and was so excited the last few days. It's for students like him that we have to get this school back up and running. A pencil case, a ruler, nothing special. I don't think the Archmage even has brochures like these. No posters or town criers or plays. Either he lacks the gold or he doesn't want to conduct his election campaign in this manner.
Так. А чё вообще от меня хотят-то? Тут скелет рыбы есть.
When the school disappeared 20 years ago, obviously no one looked after the animals. Expected consequences.
Карась-то большой был.
I don't need the whole skeleton, but a sharp-pointed bone like this might just prove useful.
И тут сундук с сокровищами за моим лицом.
It appears they wanted to replicate the fish's natural habitat as exactly as possible, including miniature treasure chests, just like the ones frequently found in the sea.
Он заперт, и нужно будет взломать его рыбной косточкой, нет?
Some old coins.
Нет, он открыт, там монетки.
Maybe one of my predecessors had a vicious fish guard his retirement fund.
Так. Яма.
Introduction to magic, sheep breeding and care, statistics. That seems to be some kind of timetable. Well, as long as I'm the only teacher, most of these subjects won't get taught. Oh, most of the plants have dried up. No one looked after them.
Редрай, но
Only
драй.
this plant must
Тут
have
нет
found a
порно.
water source somewhere. Perhaps one of
Даже
the
если бы
windows
было
has
бы,
a
я
leak.
думаю, оно было бы очень скучным. Ой, Шкаликш, привет! Как вы меня закидали сегодня котиками и собакинами. Какой красавец! Ничего, это последняя часть этой серии.
It gives you hope to know that something beautiful and peaceful has survived in this gloomy building. Ah! Ugh.
Оно умерло? Нет. Так, что тут еще осталось? Печка. Имзона.
The last time a fire burned in this was before the school disappeared 20 years ago. And even if I could, I shouldn't start a fire in it anyway. The flue was broken, and the smoke would fill the entire classroom. A little ash, but also some unburned waste. Here's a sheet of paper. Another book page. Or more precisely,
Ой,
another
ты что ж
folded sheet of
наделала?
paper upon which 4 pages have been
Спасибо
printed.
большое, Eternal Rival.
When I look at the
Кайлик,
page numbers on the
спасибо.
first sheet and on this sheet, it seems there are at least 5 sheets missing.
Так, я потихоньку собираю важные бумажки с другими важными бумажками.
The mixing of potions is an important part of magic. It's a bit like cooking, except a stew doesn't kill you if you add the wrong ingredient. Or if it's stirred wrong. No? With a little luck, I can get through the day without causing an explosion.
Так, можно отсюда свалить к хуям собачьим? Можно. Зачем? Вообще, гнома обвинили в убийстве архимага.
Archmage! Remy!
If it
Ой,
isn't our
Реми тут.
newest professor. How was your first class, Wilbur?
Отлично, я сотворил магию.
Great! I conjured up a few kobolds and the students loved it.
Ah, well done. That's the right thing to do. You've already pretty much won the battle, Wilbur. Once they want to learn, they will.
А что вы делаете в
What
школе?
brings you to the school?
I wanted to pay Horatius Bloch, the new headmaster, a first visit and see how the school's doing.
Слушай, а школа-то в
very nice of
упадке.
you. But don't you have more important things to do?
Well, it's my old school. I once walked these halls as a child myself.
What the Archmage doesn't want to tell you is that something is wrong here. For a few days he has sensed the presence of something evil.
Я опять лицом закрываю субтитры. Я не знаю, куда себя засунуть, чтобы оно не перекрывалось. Может, наверх? Поедешь наверх? Надеюсь, сверху никто не будет разговаривать. Вы чувствуете что-то
What do
злое?
you mean you sense something evil?
Everything we do and think leaves a trace. You know how you sometimes shudder when you enter a place where great evil has been done? Dark magic leaves a particularly strong trace, like a bad smell.
And it smells like dark magic around here?
I first felt it a few days ago. First in the lower town, then in the upper town, and now here at the school.
Where did it come from? I mean, do you know who's responsible?
I don't. The trace dissipates. There is too much wild magic in the air here at the school.
We must keep our eyes open at all times. Good detective work will serve us better in this case than some hocus pocus.
Кто новый директор?
So what's he like, the new headmaster?
He's no mage, that's for certain.
He is an agent of the council leader.
First and foremost, he is a reliable official with principles, Remy. The council leader of the merchants did appoint him, and he may advocate her policies. Yet I do not believe he will conspire against us. He is stern, but upright.
Did you see the way he looked at me? Like I was vermin. No, I said, The council leader has hired him for one reason and one reason only. He is supposed to make life difficult for our Wilbur here.
Am I being set up to fail so they can put the blame on you, Archmage?
If that's their plan, then they have already lost.
Как продвигается кампания?
How's the campaign coming along? I hope we're winning.
We're still in the lead.
But our margin is shrinking. Van Buren's bigwig cronies are throwing tons of gold into her election campaign.
Как дела в городе?
How are things in the town? Have things calmed down?
Not really. The barricades are getting higher and the camp is getting larger.
People are getting impatient, and who could blame them? The war is over, yet everyone is doing worse and worse.
But you're doing your best, Archmage.
It takes time, Wilbur. The deeper the wounds, the longer they need to heal. And nothing causes deeper wounds than war.
We must deliver results. Most still trust Alistair, but the mood could swing. Then we would not only lose the election, we would have a riot on our hands.
Бля, они такие как будто недовольные. Блин, скоро там урожай поспеет. Будет что-то крутое и вкусное. Я встречался с госпожой председателем совета Ван
The
Бюрен.
council chairman was here. She picked up her daughter from my class.
Terrible person.
She has great influence, and she has friends in high places.
She could also use her influence to do good too. So why is she trying to bring you down?
She believes that that would be a good thing, Wilbur. Almost no one wants to do evil. There are just very different views on what is evil and what is good.
I think I'll go see the headmaster. Goodbye, Archmage. Bye, Remy.
Goodbye, Wilbur. Don't let them intimidate you.
I'll do my best, and I won't give up.
I know.
You go on ahead, I'll be along in a minute. I want to talk to you in private, Wilbur. There are problems.
Проблемы? Какие проблемы?
That bit about dark magic all over the city does not sound good.
It's not just that. I think the Archmage's life is in danger.
What?
There was an attack, or there may have
А я
been.
не смотрела
Alistair
фантастических
insists it
тварей.
was a coincidence, but how often do heavy gargoyles just break off the mage tower when he is standing below them? I have assigned as many rats as I can spare to guard him, but you must also keep your eyes open, Wilbur.
Me?
Not only
Там
is
тоже
it
кого-то
going on
свергнуть
in the city,
хотели.
something is happening in the school too. We need information. We need to find out who is behind all this.
Но противостояние добра и зла, наверное, везде. Даже в каких-нибудь бюрократических драмах. Я слышал, что тебя назначили начальником секретной службы.
I hear Alistair's finally appointed you head of the Secret Service. From King of Thieves to high public office, eh?
Absolutely. Made quite a stir. It is the first time a rat has ever officially held an official government position. More than a few are of the opinion that with so many humans out of work, rats should not receive any jobs at all.
But nobody knows the city like you rats do. You really helped me out during my last adventure. You brought me potion ingredients and
Но
my
здесь только один
fantastic magic
диковинный зверь,
wand.
это Криттер.
And you saved Timmy and my entire clan from starvation. We'll never forget that, Wilbur Weathervane.
С Тимми все в порядке?
Timmy was a great help during my first lesson this morning.
Yes, he has done well. He absolutely wants to be a mage,
Critter.
just like his role model.
Just like the Archmage.
No, just like the hero of the Black Tower. For Timmy and many others, you are one of the heroes who ended the war.
Oh, me? Then it's best I talk to the headmaster and ask him what I should do for him.
Whatever it is, just do it and act inconspicuous. But
Да,
keep
фу.
your eyes open for anything unusual while you do so. Well, things that look unusual even in an enchanted mage school.
Got it.
Why don't we meet down at the inn after work? Then we can exchange news.
Oh, I just hope Headmaster Block doesn't keep me busy all night.
You'll be fine. You defeated the Shadow Army, never forget that.
Ой.
Yeah, just back then I wasn't alone.
То есть, наверное, по 3 часа я буду играть за каждого из персонажей, а потом они воссоединятся, а потом они рассоединятся. Так а там вроде много фантастических тварей вышло, но просто соль в том, что Гарри Поттера я в детстве любила, тогда еще части 2 или 3 было. Потом прошло много лет, и когда шли «Дары смерти» вторые в кинотеатре, я решила наверстать, и вот тогда посмотрела. А сейчас я уже все забыла, и книги я не читала, и что-то я не думаю, что мне так уж вселенная интересна. Я с ней ознакомилась и забыла. Вот. Ой, а там кто-то летает. Слушай, мне на сегодня мне хватит скучных диалогов, я сохранюсь. И, наверное, пойду отдыхать и кушать. Ну, сколько можно. Поэтому большое спасибо за внимание, что составляете мне компанию в скучных играх. Щеки не дуйте, не будьте как я, и все обязательно приложится. Увидимся завтра в то же время, в 8 вечера в Москве, плюс-минус, если я не просплю вдруг, что повторяется неприлично часто в последнее время. До свидос, пока, спасибо.